Should I freestyle
As the
cold open?
Cold open? Yeah, go ahead.
We're in the studio. You already know. Yeah, we're gonna do some blow. You already know.
That one wasn't bad.
What's up, everyone? Right now, you probably just see me and my sister, but watch as I do this magic trick and I snap my fingers. And you see Brandon now. We have two cameras. Upgrades. I know Brandon's a little dark, which is kind of funny because he's the lightest one of us, but. But we're gonna get a light. It's gonna be all good, and I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. It's gonna be a fun episode. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah,
I liked watching the rain this morning from my window.
Oh yeah,
Started hailing.
Here in LA, we're having a rainy day, so that's kind of the theme. If you notice our gear, it's a couple friends gathered around. Do you like it when it rains?
Yeah, I guess.
Are you a sunny boy or are you a rain boy?
I used to when I was younger, like the rain more, but now that I'm older, I like the sun more because I like to go do stuff now.
Yeah, I know, right? When I got older, I realized how annoying the rain is.
Yeah, now I can't go like on a nice hike,
Yeah.
go to the beach or something.
Bro, are you a believer that you get sick in the rain?
No.
Right?
I don't
Judy, do you think that? You do, don't you? I told my sister that that's not a real thing, right?
I think it's that like people assume the rain itself causes the rain. I mean the
sickness.
The sickness. But I think it's the fact that it's cold that your immune system is weaker or some shit like that.
So that's not true.
It's the same thing about the hair, right? A lot of people say like going to sleep with wet hair makes you sick. That's not true either, right?
Yeah.
I think that's literally like a Latino myth.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Mexican moms say that. At least my mom says that, but I don't
or
think
like
it's true.
when you walk around the house barefoot.
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Didn't your mom ever told you that?
Mom always got.
Oh, but it's because in your house you guys already walk barefoot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I went to your house for the first time and you told me to take off my shoes. I was like, "Fuck, you're about to smell my
dogs."
The dogs, yeah, they're about to be howling, bro." But let me see. Does wet?
No, because every time we get sick, my mom's always like, she's like, it's because you don't put your socks on. No.
Look, yeah, you see, look. Sorry, mom, but the short answer is no.
Yeah.
Wet hair in a cold environment can make you feel cold and uncomfortable, but it will not make you sick.
You know what I hate? I hate when my mom tells me something, and like she gets proven right, but it's not because of what she said. But then I gotta like hear about how she's right, you know. Like let's say I did go out without like a sweater, and I did like catch a cold, and she's like, "See," and I'm like, "Well, it's not because of that. Like my friend had COVID." No,
bro, me too. Bro, me too. Yeah, fuck yeah. That literally always happens. Like, I'll get sick, and my mom's like, "It's because of that damn phone."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I am like, I guess on my phone, but it has nothing to do with why I'm sick."
I hate that.
Yeah.
But I guess when I'm a parent, I'll do that because it seems kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna make up lies for sure.
To what?
To what? Fuck? There's a
Ghost
in
activity.
here.
Anyways.
Whoa. Anyways, yeah.
I don't know what that was.
But anyways, for today's first topic, we wanted to talk about something that's tearing the Latino community apart.
Something very serious.
Yeah. Trigger warning for those of you listening.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. We want to talk about the rumors that our good friend Benito has been captured by the colonizers. So what is it? Do you guys know? I actually don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Drew, do you know?
That's supposedly that. I think they caught like Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner like on a date or something like that. And then supposedly, I don't know how true everything is, but like supposedly, I think they even went on a double date with like Hailey Bieber and Justin Bieber. Because I think Hailey Bieber and Kendall Jenner are like really good friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they were all hanging out, and like people are like furious at Bad Bunny because he's dating a white girl.
Is it valid, Julie? Is it valid? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm like, I really
interesting.
I'm kind of like, I just think it's funny because like, I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna be fucked up, but it's because like Bad Bunny like doesn't really like speak like English that well.
He doesn't speak English?
Like, I don't know, because last time I saw him try to talk English, it was at the fucking Grammys, and he was struggling a little bit.
Maybe Kendall speaks Spanish.
Maybe.
Yeah, she does have the tequila brand, the 818. So maybe she.
Well, I think that's what people are like furious the most about is that like because Kendall Jenner is known to kind of profit out of like the Latino, and especially because she came out with like her tequila, that people are like furious about it. That like, and especially like Bad Bunny was known to kind of diss, you know, because he's talking about like Puerto Rico and like so Jake Paul, and so like
they both look a little
then,
like
I don't know.
And then
man.
in his music, he's also mentioned that like people want to like be Latino and blah blah blah. And I guess people are furious about it. I really don't care.
Maybe he's just in his villain era.
I don't know. I also think I don't know. I also think he's just trying to promote. I don't know.
I don't care.
No, I don't think. No, I don't. I honestly think Latinas are just mad that it isn't them who he's dating. Yeah. You know what I mean? So people are really mad that he's like.
So it's not even confirmed that they're dating.
I don't think so.
It's just rumors.
They're just friends.
Yeah. It's just rumors. But
well, I don't know. It's weird. People care.
Why do you think people are so like up in like people's like celebrities and like who they're dating and stuff?
Because it's fun. It's because it's fun. What do you mean? Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I don't do it, but I can like put myself in the place of why I understand it's fun.
It's like, I don't know. People like to gossip, no?
Yeah. Well, because I keep seeing like also like in the topic of like bringing up like Hailey Bieber, there's this thing of like going on with her and Selena Gomez, because like Selena and Justin Bieber were a thing. And people are saying how like Justin Bieber mistreats like Hailey. I forget, I don't know what her actual last name is, but Hailey Bieber, his wife.
I've only seen the video where like he like jumps a fence and she like falls in the street.
Yeah.
And he like leaves her behind.
Yeah, and he's like, he's running or skateboarding or something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's because he's traumatized, bro. He's all trauma.
But like people are always talking about how like Justin Bieber is still in love with Selena Gomez, and like he thinks about her and like who's married and all that.
People think the world's a damn movie. Dude. People think the world's a movie. It's
I know. Yeah.
Didn't they date when he was like 15? They weren't even like adults yet. No,
yeah, they were together for like 9 years. But I know they were together like when they were really really young. And I think people just grew up like watching them date. That I think people are also just stuck.
Oh, they hope it's like mom. I hope mom and dad get back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. But he ended up like getting married, and like people basically hate her and all that stuff. But I think it's just like fans. You know how when like fans get mad at whoever their celebrity gets married to, and they kind of just start hitting on them.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna say, you know how you guys asked like, why do people? And you were like, it's fun. I was going to say that, like, a long time ago, I read that, like, most of human conversation is just gossip. Like, people just like gossip, and I Googled it. Here's what it says. People don't just casually overhear inappropriate conversations. They tend to chime in. An older study suggests that 80% of what we talk about is, in fact, gossip. So 80% of human conversation is generally gossip, at least according to this study. I don't know their credentials, but.
Mm-hmm.
So we're naturally sassy? Mm-hmm. Every human is a little like.
I just think with celebrities, it's kind of like, because if I was like gossiping about you, there's that like, she might find out, you know.
Yeah.
But Bad Bunny doesn't give a fuck about what. I mean, maybe he does, but like Jane Doe talking about him is, you know, it's like
that's funny.
Whatever.
And I mean, that's kind of funny,
you know,
because that means like, holy shit, like I never even realized. It's one of those things where like, you know, when you're younger and you're kind of like talking shit about somebody and you don't even realize it, and then like when you get older you're like, damn, we would talk a lot of shit about them. You guys know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but it's just celebrity stuff, and I think it's also like,
so you don't get into it, Julie? You don't find it interesting, like talking about celebrity drama and stuff?
Not really.
No,
just because I'm kind of like,
you don't idealize any celebrities?
No, I honestly don't.
You never had like any favorite, not even growing up?
I've had like my favorites here and there, but I don't like invest in like their life
and their lore
and like what they're doing. Because growing up, I was like a Justin Bieber fan, but I wasn't like super overly like obsessed with him. I just liked his music. Like I just kind of grew up with it.
Were you one of those girls who I've seen posts where girls said that they went to concerts and they wore like their best fit, even though they're like 12 years old, hoping that Justin Bieber would see them in the crowd and be like, oh, I think I'm falling in love with that girl. I need her backstage. You know what I'm talking about?
I had never gone to concerts.
But did you have that kind of like idea? I kind of had that idea with Victoria Justice. Like I remember, because Victoria Justice, I did see her every now and then, because she I think like lived or hung around the Americana. You know what I'm talking about? The one in Glendale?
Maybe she'll see this. Spit some game.
Maybe. I don't know. What would I even say? Like,
just be yourself.
let me just freestyle. Let me freestyle on her.
Again?
Yeah. Like, oh, justice, just us. Yeah, you see? You see? Yeah.
He's getting better.
There you go.
It's getting better.
The kid's getting better.
It's getting better, yeah.
The kid's got talent.
What can I say? They're about to sign me, bro. I'm about to dip. It's going to be just you guys. But no, yeah, with Victoria Justice, I always had this idea that, like, I gotta make sure every time I go to the Americana, I'm wearing my best fit, because she's gonna see me and she's gonna be like, yo, like that Mexican kid, like he's got it. Like
I saw Jeanette McCurdy at the Americana.
Oh yeah, did you spit game?
No. I was gonna go see Lion King, and she like walked by. I was like, oh hey, that's Sam.
Did she like cover her face?
No, but I think
you got the idea?
I did a double take, because I just glanced and I was like, like no way, you know. But she was like hustling it up the stairs. She probably didn't want to be seen. It was like late at night, so that's probably why.
What's the most famous celebrity you guys have ever seen or like ran into?
I haven't run into any, I think.
What's weird is that I feel like you always see celebrities, but like I guess you haven't run into them, right? Because didn't you say you saw like Kendrick Lamar and like
yeah,
it's called she said oh yeah, like
I forget.
oh my bad, I'm such a, I get so used to it.
It's weird. I don't know. I feel like I don't like
and also
overly like react to seeing like I guess celebrities, because I mean I always see like basketball players.
We ran into what's his name?
You've seen Denzel Washington too, right?
We ran into
Denzel
Eagle
Washington.
Raptor, right? At
Target. Yeah. That's like YouTube celebrities though. I feel like,
but I mean, I feel like celebrities online are getting more clout.
Yeah, no, I think the reason why the three of us kind of like, if you really think about it, we've actually seen a good amount of celebrities. We're probably just used to it because since we grew up here in LA, like you do really see it a lot. Mm-hmm. And also, I think my dad always tried to like instill in us, because he was here even longer, of like to never really like put them on a pedestal. Like the funniest thing was when my dad, I've told you, right? Of when
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, for those of you listening, my dad has his own business here in LA, and he basically works with like cars. He's like a step down from being a mechanic. He's in auto tech. And Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah, he rode up like in this like super fancy car, and my dad had no idea who Jake Gyllenhaal was. He just kind of got the idea that he was an actor because of like obviously his car, and then he made Jake Gyllenhaal take a picture of him while my dad is standing next to his car. I should look and get that picture, because it's funny, because I just imagine like
make a reel out of it and edit it.
Yeah, right. I imagine like fucking Jake Gyllenhaal was probably like, what the fuck?
Who'll see this? No, I bet you anything. Jake Gyllenhaal thought it was funny.
Oh yeah,
he's like you know.
Because not a lot of people probably do that. People probably take pictures with him instead of his car.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But I think personally, I don't know. I haven't really ran into.
Do you remember that movie we saw, Something's Gotta Give, with Jack Nicholson?
Oh yeah.
I ran into the lead actress.
Oh really?
Diane Keaton at the Burbank theater. She waved hi to me.
Yeah,
I was a little kid. My mom recognized her, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, I seen that chick in movies." And she was like, and I was like, "Wow."
Wow. You never ran into...
I'm trying to think.
But you never took a picture? You never went out of your way to take a picture with somebody?
I've taken pictures with basketball players. I used to do that when I was younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I met Ron Artest.
He's
Metta World Peace now, right?
You've never tried to meet a LeBron James?
He was in a Laker. No, well, I did kind of. I remember, because I was a dumb kid, they would say that he joined, or not joined, but he'd go to Boys and Girls Club. You remember everybody was at that Boys and Girls Club?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that. But I remember there's some people in our class that were like, bro, join Boys and Girls Club. LeBron James sometimes shows up. And I was like, are you serious? like
you really signed up?
Like, I'll go. I didn't sign up, but as I got older, I was like, well, I think because I don't know what he does, but he's involved in it. But from what I, as a kid, like thought was like he goes to that specific one like all the time, and I was like, you know. But
yeah. Do you remember when Selena Gomez came
to our school?
Logan
Logan Paul did too.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that one. I remember Selena though.
I remember that. We were when Logan Paul was there. It was when Vine was still around, I think. So he was big on Vine, I think.
I remember people told me he was like filming a sketch or something.
Yeah, he was
right?
filming
he
a
threw
sketch.
like a phone or something.
I just remember he was in the quad, and we were like going, maybe switching periods, and everybody was like, "Look, it's Logan Paul," and I was like, "Oh yeah." And then the actors or whatever he had, they called us sardines, because there was like a bunch of us, like the whole school was like moving classes, and they're like, "It looks like a bunch of sardines."
You know, like, were they like being insulting or were they?
No,
like,
from what I took it, I was like, I guess we do. Like, you know, in SpongeBob, when all the sardines are walking, I guess that's what they meant. But okay, I saw Logan Paul. This was before he's like a billionaire, though.
This is before he became modern day Logan Paul.
And then Selena Gomez went to our school.
Yeah, I remember that one was crazy.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah. I remember
I wasn't there.
It low-key became a gender war though. I don't know. You probably don't know this because it was mainly in my class. But I remember they closed all the boys like bathrooms and then they closed the gym because they basically wanted to like get all the boys like out of the school because do you remember she showed up after school ended?
Yeah.
So they wanted to get all the boys out of school. I guess because like safety precautions or whatever. I guess the boys are like.
It's because it was a girls' event.
Yeah. Well,
it was
it was for Step Up, right?
It was for Step Up.
You know what was the male version of that was Lead?
Man Up.
No.
Oh,
Lead.
But do you remember that?
But me and you were in Lead.
Yeah, Lead.
So when that happened, I was like, oh, who are we getting? Like Drake,
we didn't get shit,
Drake,
bro.
Kendrick, like we didn't get shit.
I remember that because I remember one of the guys, he was a grade I think lower than me, and he started complaining. I don't know if you guys ever had no, never mind, I'm not gonna name him. But one of the guys was like complaining to one of the teachers and was like, well, how is it fair that the girls are getting like all these programs and like they're getting to meet all these celebrities? And then the teacher was like, well, I mean, like they're they're not very privileged in all of these areas, so like it makes sense that they're getting like access to a lot of these programs, especially it's a women program.
Well, I guess it's funny because when I was in Lead, we didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Like we would dick around for like half an hour. Sometimes I wouldn't go. Sometimes nobody would go. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, there was a Lead meeting today." You know?
Yeah. Well, because wasn't Lead started because people, like guys were getting mad that girls had Step Up?
I don't know. I only joined it because we had to do community or hours or whatever.
Yeah.
What are they?
It was like free community hours.
Yeah. So and it fulfilled my hours.
Community hours for that?
Yeah. That's
we didn't get
only
that.
reason. Well, you got Selena Gomez.
Yeah. There you go. I know, right?
Well, I didn't get that.
The only reason I joined was because it was basically I get all the hours I ever needed.
Bro, didn't the girl also get like free like Chanel bags?
They got Coach bags, I think.
Bro, yeah. But the male students,
we got hours.
We got a fucking like a thumbs up and like a warm hug.
We were able to graduate. That's
yeah. I know, right? It was so fucking.
Well, because it was it was an actual like big program. I mean, it's still going on, and like it's just a women's network thing.
But speaking of celebrities, when we went to back with TGN, shout out to them. When we saw Eugenio.
Oh yeah, we just said Eugenio.
He was. I could have thrown a football at him. You know, he was
literally right in front of me, and
he was like at the corner, like, well, you guys can't see, but like,
you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny too is that I've never gotten starstruck, but that was the first time I got starstruck. But I think it's also because he was like right in front of us.
Yeah,
and I was like,
we could have arguably talked to him.
And it was background for those of you listening who are new, who are wondering what we're talking about. There was this company we used to work with, they put us up to basically be interviewers for a lot of the actors and like celebrities who were gonna do
a premiere for a short film.
Yeah, a red carpet for a short
film from a director named Jorge Zolalpa.
Yeah,
shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to him. We had him on the show. He's always welcome. Anyways,
but one of the actresses, she's actually the wife of Eugenio. So Eugenio showed up. And it was like our job to kind of get him and try to interview him, but I got shy. I got super starstruck and I couldn't talk to him.
Well, not only that, but like it was, I don't want to say dead, but like there was not that much activity before he showed up. Mm-hmm. Like we got to talk to like any actor we wanted, really. Like,
yeah.
But the second he showed up, like there was suddenly like 200 people in the room.
It was
suddenly,
and I was
like whoa, like, you know.
Suddenly the Oscars out there, you know, and it got fucking filled with a bunch of people.
So shout out to Eugenio if he's watching.
Yeah. If he knows of our existence.
I remember him, and then there was another actress there, and I remember seeing her and being like, "Damn, I haven't seen her in a while," because she used to come out in like telenovelas, and she was always the mom in like telenovelas. She's one of the other. I think there's 2 actresses, like 2 women that are leads. No,
Yeah.
And then there's the other lady. I forget her name.
No, yeah, but like the only time I got like starstruck, I guess it's weird because like my parents like football. I'm not really a football guy. I'm more of a basketball guy. But one time I went to one of the Ram games, and I got into like the tunnel where like the Rams get out, and I was like right in front, and that's when like they come and give you shot, like, oh, you want my wristband and stuff, and all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, like, you know, give me some shit, and I got some stuff, so that was cool. You know?
Did you like when we were interviewers? Did you like when we were doing the red carpet interviewer?
Yeah, I just feel like I want to do that again, but like I feel like I was caught too much with my pants down because everybody spoke Spanish, and I was like, I mean, I'm not that good at Spanish. So
have you guys ever were you guys good at public speaking growing up? No? Yes?
I don't think I was bad. I know there was, when I was a kid, well, because we had to do it a lot, because remember we had children's liturgy where we had to lead the church. I'd always read, so it never bothered me. I mean, I never really paid attention to it as much as other people, because I was like, we always had to do it.
Yeah, same. I've actually never really had a trouble with it.
I feel like I really liked, like in class when we would have to do like paragraphs and stuff, and like read a certain paragraph and then the next person. I remember I always liked doing it. I was just always nervous that I would say a word wrong or something. But other than that, I always enjoyed it.
Because some people have. I remember in college. I don't know if you went through this, but in college you're supposed to take like a public speaking class.
Yeah, you're supposed to take communication.
Right? No, you never had to.
What was it called? It was called the class in our.
It's, I don't know.
Do you remember that class we had to take? It was called like World or some shit.
No.
Well, anyways, I don't know. I don't think I had to do it.
No.
I mean, I probably did, but I kind of probably skirted around it.
Well, because I remember seeing like people get like overwhelmed by anxiety of like public speaking, to me it was always really mind blowing.
Do you think it's like why do you think it's necessary to have that
public speaking?
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know about necessary, but I think it's very like.
But I mean, like as a like mandated.
Oh, because it's part of college, it's part of graduating college.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know what? Yeah. Then I changed my opinion. Yeah, I think it's necessary.
You think so?
Yeah, because
I think yes, because I think in certain, I guess, majors you'll eventually have to do like a presentation. I feel like
if it's like your major, yeah. But I feel like if it's not your major and you don't really have any interest, I don't think you should have to do it.
But I feel like it helps you like gain intelligence. I feel like your intelligence, some of it is rated by how articulate you are, and I feel like public speaking is one of the things that teaches you to become articulate.
Well, I guess it's one of those things where it's like, because a bunch of colleges are like job interviews and shit. I always thought it was more like that, like presenting yourself and like jobs. Well, I guess.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that I feel like it's also a lot of practice of like once you start like interviewing for jobs. Because a lot for your job is talking about yourself and like and all that. So I feel like it's a good practice. Because when I took it, I saw a lot of people like it was always rumored around that everyone hated the communications class because they were like, because then you have to do like public speaking and like a presentation. Because your final is technically, at least for us, our final was that we had to do like, I don't know, like I think it was maybe like 10 or 20 minute like presentation on a certain topic, and that was our final. Like that's all it was.
Cutting a whole fucking TED talk.
Yeah.
For like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But
so that's a whole presentation.
If you want advice on how to get better at it, you know why I feel like I always got like pretty easy on it is because I grew up watching like wrestling, like
So you imagined it was a promo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not like fucking like Olympic wrestling, but yeah, WWE wrestling,
real wrestling.
Yeah, real wrestling. And I remember I would always cut promos. Do you remember? I'd even record them with my brother. We'd be cutting like promos again, like ending the 10-year rivalry that me and my brother had, even though I'm only like 11.
Yeah.
Bro, I remember. You know, it's funny. You know how in the other episode we were talking about how like we were talking about Santa Claus and remembering. I was remembering when I found out like Santa Claus wasn't real. But I remember when I found out fucking wrestling wasn't real. I remember it was like.
You were devastated.
I didn't see a purpose in being alive anymore. Like I just thought like there's.
But it is real, and I don't mean it's just choreographed. The stunts are real.
I mean, the stunts are real. Yeah.
It's entertainment.
No, you see, she's microaggressions.
Yeah.
It's real. They're getting hurt.
No, I know. That's
How do you learn?
It's just that it's predetermined. What?
How do you learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder?
Yeah.
You know.
I just think that's crazy though. Like that they actually like injure their bodies.
Whenever I see like interviews like about how like, because remember, well, if you don't know wrestling, right, they call it kayfabe, basically like staying within the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Because I think what kind of messed it up was like, I mean not messed it up, but like dropped the ball, I guess, was UFC and stuff like that. Like actual like what
real fighting?
Yeah.
I thought we just said it is real. I know what you mean.
Yeah, but whatever.
That's what people say. People say that the fall of like wrestling, of why it wasn't as popular. Because if you look back on like it in the 90s, it was like one of the biggest. I think like in terms of what gained the most revenue, I think wrestling was like in the 5 of the top 10 spots were just wrestling. And I think it did fall off because UFC finally sprouted out, and people saw it and they're like, oh, like this is what it would actually look like.
Yeah.
Like, and then it became kind of cringe, I guess, to look at wrestling and like the grapples and stuff, like super unrealistic, right?
Yeah.
But that's funny. People didn't know what fighting looked like back in the day.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense now. On Twitter, you could see
fighting's romanticized, bro.
Yeah, that's true. But you had a question, right? You had a question.
I had a question. Oh, it was kind of dumb. I was just gonna say, if you could have one celebrity on the podcast, who would you have?
One celebrity, dude.
Yeah, just one though. It could be, and by celebrity, I don't mean just actors. It could be athlete, influencer, comedian, politician. The only criteria is if they have to be alive. You can't. Pick
I want to say Dave Chappelle. I'd have Dave Chappelle on. What?
Anyway,
why not?
No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. I'm trying to think of who.
Benito, Bad Bunny.
She's like, there was this the elote man. She's like local celebrities.
Local celebrities. I was trying to. I kept thinking of Eugenio, but that's because we were talking about him right
Eugenio?
now. Yeah.
It'd be cool to have him on the
it'd be
podcast.
cool
So
to
you
have
choose
him.
him out of everybody? Like you could pick anybody. Like a
I'm
politician.
trying to think, but that's the only person I can think of right now.
Urania? That's kind of fun.
What about you?
Probably LeBron James.
He's Donkey in Shrek, bro.
Yes.
Well, he wouldn't fit. He'd be too
LeBron
big.
James.
Yeah, we'd have to fucking
You could
like
sit crisscross applesauce.
Are you gonna make LeBron James sit crisscross applesauce?
Yeah. I'm sorry, bro.
I keep thinking of like who's big and who do I like. But I feel like I don't know.
You don't like anyone, actually?
You wouldn't pick like
You got hate on in your
what
heart?
about like
No,
Barack Obama or something?
it's not like I have hate. It's just like I can't think of like who to choose.
Would you have the president on? If you had to
Biden?
if you had to choose between Biden and Dave Chappelle, would you have Biden on? You could ask him. Well, you could ask him whatever you want. He says he'll do a tell-all, and no question is off limits.
I guess he's the president, right? I'm like, it'd be dumb to choose Dave Chappelle over the president.
You'd want to have Barack Obama on here?
Would I want to?
Wait, he's not the president.
He's
though.
not though.
No, but he's like, you didn't want Barack on here?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be kind of funny because, like, at least if you're listening on Spotify, because like you'll hear our voice and you're like, yeah, you know, like, like let me be clear.
Oh, he'd be laughing too. I've experimented with
Like,
shrooms.
let me be clear, you know. And then, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of funny. What about Donald Trump? Would you have the Donald on?
Donald? Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to have that guy on because I know it'd be an eye opener.
What celebrity would you for sure not have? Let's say
you said still alive, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's.
You'd have anyone?
Yeah, I don't have really beef with anybody.
You'd have like Alex Jones still and all them.
Well, Alex Jones would probably take us off YouTube, so I don't know if I'd go that far. But I mean, yeah, I feel like there's not really anybody who's unless they're like dangerous, I guess.
Dangerous or like committed a heinous crime.
Yeah.
Would you have O.J. Simpson on?
I mean, the Nelk Boys had him on, so probably.
Oh, someone beat us to it.
Yeah. And they've all been done. It has to be somebody like mind blowing,
never been
like I
done.
don't know. It has to be. I'd have Putin on.
You'd have.
Yeah, I'd have him on. Everybody would tune in for that one.
Top you. I'll go Kim Jong.
You'd go Kim Jong?
Yeah.
He wouldn't come on here. We wouldn't even know how to communicate.
It's a fantasy.
Julie, go ahead. Top that. Top Kim Jong.
Kim Jong-un.
Damn. Top him, Julie.
I can't think. There's like no one that's like coming to my head right now, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I could think of like.
No
I bet you
thoughts.
can name 6 guys right
No
now.
thoughts,
Top Kim
head
Jong.
empty.
Top Kim Jong.
Kim Jong. I'm gonna say the Ukraine's president. I don't know his name.
Zelensky?
Is that his name?
Yeah. Ukraine? But
Yeah.
is that
Well,
more
because I guess
controversial?
that kind of tops because he's in war right now, so he's the
Yeah.
opposite of Putin. I'd have the Saudi Arabian prince. I'd have.
Give him
Y'all want Hulk Hogan on here?
Hulk Hogan? Yeah.
Hulk Hogan tops Kim Jong Un,
I wouldn't mind having Hulk Hogan.
bro. But people hate
Yeah,
him.
he's racist, right?
Yeah, he'd
Mm.
probably be like, "I'd
That would-
never be on this."
That would also be funny because you'd hear us like, so Hulk Hogan, like, how you doing? He'd be like, well, let me tell you something, brother. on Spotify.
And then you hear like a bunch of like,
Yeah, you know?
because he'd be like fighting us in the studio. But moving on to topics, I wanted to talk about something that I've been itching my brain about for a minute now.
Go right ahead.
So a couple of weeks back, I was hanging out with Brandon, and I got high as I always do. And we were watching Zoolander, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed something so weird. So this is gonna make sense more to people who have seen Zoolander, but if you haven't, I'll go ahead and break it down. So if you haven't seen Zoolander, it's basically about this male model who's played by Ben Stiller, who he's like brainwashed into becoming an assassin. So then he can assassinate. What is the guy? He's like a minister of like.
I forgot what he's like, the president or like.
He's like the minister of like world peace, basically. Like he's pro like cleaning up the earth and like getting rid of like a bunch of like industries. I haven't even told you this, huh, Julie? Because I've literally been hyping this up for a minute. So that's like basically the plot of the story. But what's really weird is that the movie itself has like a deeper conspiracy in it. So the conspiracy in the movie is revealed that the fashion model agencies, like the people who hire like male models or like female models, that they've been in charge of like every major assassination in the past, like basically in human history, right?
Yeah.
And all of human history. And it's because they want to push that agenda of like they want to keep making clothes, they want to keep making like waste, they want to keep polluting the earth. But what's really weird is that there's a lot of like hints to real life things that didn't get revealed into like decades after the movie came out. So I'll give you an example, right? One of the characters in the movie is called Harvey Ballstein, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
So his name is Harvey Ballstein, and when the movie came out, people didn't know yet that obviously Harvey Ballstein is supposed to be an imitation of Harvey Weinstein in real life, and Harvey Weinstein. You didn't make that connection.
It's Maury Ballstein.
Oh, Maury Ballstein, right? And in the movie, it's like hinted and like played at that Maury Ballstein is kind of this weirdo. Like it's even implied that he's kind of like sexually harassed like some of the female models, and he's like part of this conspiracy who knows that like there's higher powers controlling like the world, right?
Yeah.
So what's weird is that like that was a conspiracy theory that came out probably like years after the movie came out. Nobody had ever mentioned it, even though people say like Hollywood knew about it. Most people did not know about it in the public. So the fact that Ben Stiller put that in his movies says a lot, because Ben Stiller is a nepo baby. He's a nepotism baby. His dad was a famous actor who's been in Hollywood.
The guy who plays Maury Ballstein is Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. So no, I'm telling you, it gets really deep. No, I even looked it up on YouTube or Google to see if anybody else noticed like this weird thing in Zoolander. But anyways,
deeper meaning of Zoolander.
Yeah, because there's like secretly a deeper meaning like Zoolander. So anyways, like in another thing that's weird is that so the main big bad guy is played by Will Ferrell, and he's the villain. But in the beginning of the movie, they say that he's talking to like. They show that he's talking to like these shadow figures, like who are his
the
boss.
real leaders, yeah.
Yeah, and they say in the movie that Will Ferrell is just like a puppet, that like he's not really like the main bad guy. He's just following orders, right? Like super weird. Like in like such a comedy, especially because it's like a reflection of what conspiracy theories say now. Yeah, and that's a really well. It's not a super old movie, but it's an old movie.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it what was kind of weird about it. I'm not like we're not really saying that like it's a confession. It's just kind of interesting that like you can extrapolate that it's kind of like a almost a parody of what people the conspiracy of the what Hollywood is now. You know.
Yeah.
Because like the scene where they're like they're brainwashing Zoolander into like killing somebody. People say that about Hollywood that like not that they brainwash people into killing people, but that what they put on in like in media is brainwashing people, you know. So it's I don't know, interesting.
So
right?
yeah, so if you dissect like the surface of the movie, it's at least the way I interpret it is that it's Ben Stiller kind of saying that the male models, the beautiful people, aka celebrities, are just like pawns for people in power to implement their agenda and like brainwash people and like commit conspiracies on the government, and that they're in charge of the government. Because like they literally say in the movie that it's because the fashion companies want to like continue to do waste, and obviously that's supposed to be satirical.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that just companies, big corporations in general, like want to like take advantage of our resources. So I wouldn't even have like it wouldn't have even been on my radar if it wasn't that Ben Stiller also wrote the movie.
Yeah.
And his family's been in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that he's putting stuff in the movie that doesn't make sense when it was released, but makes sense like when looking at it now. And I think it came out in 2001, right?
Yeah.
Like a few months after 9/11. So I think it actually bombed when it came out. Like a lot of people didn't watch it. So that's what's like especially weird is that like it flew under the radar, and now that it blew up, the only reason I rewatched it was because of the memes, and that's why I was even more shocked that people haven't talked about how there's this like weird like
deeper meaning
in Zoolander. Yeah.
The other thing that got me was when we were watching it is I remember the character of Maury Ballstein. Like I remember him. But when I was watching it, it didn't hit me until that time. I was like, "Oh shit, is this supposed to be Harvey Weinstein?" Like, cause like he's like a big agency, right? So, and Harvey Weinstein in real life was part of like the real agency that manages a lot. I mean, that's how he like assaulted a bunch of like actors. Yeah, I don't know, interesting, right? It's almost like a bunch of like inside jokes that you wouldn't get until later.
Yeah.
So what do you think they were trying to do, or do you think they were trying to do anything with it?
I think
at least when it was released, right? I'm thinking of the time when it was released.
Well, I look at Ben Stiller's other movie that he made, which is Tropic Thunder, right? And Tropic Thunder is a super satirical movie talking about his own career, right? And I think when Zoolander came out, a lot of people didn't know that it was meant to be satirical. I think people took it as face value, as like it's a comedy. So, because people didn't like it either when it came out. People thought it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
And so I feel like the movie is, if you look at it through the lens of that, with that context, I think it's genuinely like almost Ben Stiller saying like, "Yo, like look at this Hollywood. Is what's going on in Hollywood." Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it is like kind of like a confession.
Well, the only reason
what is it? Whistleblowing.
Yeah, maybe he is being a whistleblower.
Well, the like when you bring up Tropic Thunder, it's because like Tropic Thunder's like, it is like it's satire. Like it's more like in your face about Hollywood, you know. So like using that, it's not hard to believe that it is like something about Hollywood, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a big conspiracy where he's like, please help me. Like where he's blinking twice for help. Like, I don't think it's that. I just think, you know?
Yeah. He was just trying to let people know.
Yeah. I don't know about letting people know either. I just, that, like you said, his family's been in Hollywood, you know? So that's like his reality. Like he just is, that's what he knows. So I feel like it's just, I don't know. I mean, do you think he's like saying like what's going on here is wrong? Or do you think,
I think so.
Do you think there's a deeper
I
meaning
think
in
so.
Zoolander?
Yeah. I when I watched the movie, that's totally the idea I got, because I think about how Ben Stiller, because he is a nepotism baby, he understands it's like cinema, and I don't mean to come off as like pretentious or anything, but like if you look at historically, like movies are meant to be for directors and writers, it's supposed to be a piece of like something personal, right?
Yeah.
And for Ben Stiller, I imagine that what he's showing in Zoolander is kind of like an auteur perspective of what he feels like he sees in the industry. So I feel as though it is kind of him trying to maybe like let people in on the secret of what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think it's as literal as like there's these evil people physically brainwashing other people, or maybe it is. I don't know. Hopefully not, because that's kind of scary. But I do think, and I get the interpretation that it is a little bit of like a confession, and not in confession in the sense of where Ben Stiller thinks he did something wrong, but more of he's like, this is supposed to be really, really goofy, but it's only because it's an extreme version of what's actually happening behind the scenes. Because I just thought when I was watching it, once that kind of clicked for me in the beginning of the movie, I couldn't go without seeing that throughout the entire movie, and it kind of made me it gave me an unsettling feeling.
No, definitely,
right?
Definitely, because there's some like the part where what's Will Ferrell's character's name? Whatever. The part where Will Ferrell is like brainwashing
of Ben Stiller's character Zoolander, right?
Yeah, it's a little like whoa, you know.
It's pretty scary, because he's in the movie. It's obviously funny. It's supposed to be like, oh, you're gonna get a full massage, like it's gonna be a full body massage. We're gonna take care of you, but it's really where they're gonna brainwash him and do the whole like procedure. Oh yeah, Mugatu. Yeah. But when they get in there, there's like this whole kind of montage package where he's like, oh, like everything's so beautiful and everything's so nice, but there's these evil people out in the world who wish harm on you and wish for you to take away that happiness. And he's like they're giving like an animation show of like peaceful protesters, which is like kind of funny, right? Because that's not what they're about. But Ben Stiller's character Zoolander, because he's supposed to be dumb, he's like, and it's just brainwashing him into thinking they're the enemy. And it gave me like this chill, like this like real like chill, which is like funny, even like zooming out, because it's like it's fucking Zoolander. But and I also said hi, but like there's really a lot of like weird reflections of reality in the movie. The Harvey Weinstein is the biggest thing for me.
That one was the one where I was like, oh shit, that's Harvey Weinstein.
No, because the stuff about like Harvey Weinstein wouldn't even come out for like a lot of years. So like the fact that in the movie they're already hinting that Harvey Weinstein's this like grand like schemer who's taking advantage of people, to me it sets off a lot of like red flags.
Well, I mean, with like the story with him is that like people kind of knew, but nobody really spoke out about it. So
there's the famous one of Brad Pitt, right? Where was it Gwyneth Paltrow?
It was.
Where I think Harvey Weinstein made it like an advance on Gwyneth Paltrow, and it like obviously like really scared her or disturbed her. And she told Brad Pitt, and then Brad Pitt went and like threatened him or some shit. But no, like people knew, like they just didn't say anything.
So I guess if you want to take off the conspiracy cap, it's just that. It's that it's like, well, Hollywood knew. It's not. But I don't know. I like to think that like Zoolander is a satirical piece. So Zoolander is a satirical piece that's reflecting a lot of Hollywood's darker secrets.
You should watch the movie.
Let everybody who's watching this or listening to this, let me know what you guys think.
I haven't ever seen it.
So. You've never seen the Zoolander?
No.
I feel like now she'll watch it though. And
watch it with that interpretation.
But yeah, that's what I saw from taking a few hits and watching Zoolander. So moving on to our next topic. Do you guys think? Okay, what do you guys think about dogs?
What about them? They're cool.
Do you guys think that dogs should have as much rights as humans?
As much rights?
Yeah.
I don't know about like as much rights, but they should have rights, right?
As in what? Should we claim them on taxes? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I mean, don't hurt them. Like, just don't hurt them.
Just don't abuse them.
Yeah,
but have you seen that thing of actually, this isn't dogs, this is cats. But do you see that post that said that it's advocating that you should have your pet taken away from you if you leave your cat outside?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but what do you think about that?
Say that again?
That some people say that like if you have like a cat and you let it be outdoors, like an outdoor cat, that you should have your pet taken away from you. Like someone should take your cat away from you. The post that I saw was more saying that like because it's dangerous, like cats get into fights with other cats. They can get hit by a car. Something could eat them. Other people could abuse it. You know, I don't know. The more I was surprised at that take more when I hear people say you shouldn't let your cat out. It's more like an environmental reason because cats are like destroying the environment because
are they really?
Well, because they're such effective hunters that they'll eat like the native population of birds and stuff like that, and they're messing up the ecosystem. So like when people talk about that, like I get what they're saying. Like don't let your cat out because they're destroying the ecosystem. Valid take, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
But that's not
the other one I saw.
Yeah.
The girl who was advocating for it, she was saying more because you can't take care of your cat, and you never know what harm can come to your cat.
Yeah. They can catch something, a disease maybe.
Yeah, but it's true too. Cats that go outside have a shorter life expectancy. Did you know that?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, cats that go outside have shorter life expectancy. They usually don't live as long as indoor cats do.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think
you should be getting your cat taken away if you leave them outside?
Yeah. Do you agree?
I don't know if I agree.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Why?
You can say don't do that, but I don't know if like you should have your cat take it away from you.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't think they deserve the same respect as like having a baby?
I mean, but they're animals. Like that's where they're from, no?
Yeah, you think so? This is sounding real specious right now.
Specious?
Yeah. Cancelable? No. I mean, they're animals, you know?
No, like I said, I understand when people say like it's about like it's more about the environment, like protecting the native environment and shit. Cause I can see it. Cats are super effective hunters. Or like I guess if you live in a place that has like a lot of coyotes, you know?
Yeah.
But you can't see like animals having more rights as time passes by.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't really think about it like with dogs and cats. I think about it more with like whales and shit. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. Well, cause like SeaWorld, right? Like, I don't think they should have those in like I think that's inhumane.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm surprised we haven't done anything about that, especially with all the documentaries.
Oh, we have. I don't think in America you can't have killer whales anymore. You can't breed them, I think. Like, really? So the ones that are at SeaWorld, those are going to be the last ones. I think. I don't remember, but yeah. But either way, I feel like the killer whales, dolphins, all those things, I don't think they should be in a tank. I think that's fucked up. Because it's not like they act like it's like a natural reserve. It's like a little pool, you know, where things.
I remember I thought about, because every time I look at my dogs, whenever I go to work, I thought about how I wish I could have like this land where I just get a bunch of dogs and move them in there, and then kind of develop like a system where they get fed. They never have to worry about food. They get fed in the morning, midday, and then at night. And I wonder if they would eventually like build like their own community. I don't know why. I was thinking about this recently. I was literally thinking about this yesterday. And I was like, do you think dogs are that smart?
I don't know. I think people anthropomorphize animals a lot. Like they put a lot of human characteristics on them in there. When I'm like, you gotta remember they're also still animals, you know? Like dogs are domesticated, and I think, you know, they're very smart and stuff like that. But it's still like
they're animals.
It's a dog, you know? It's not.
Well, because I feel like kid, you know? the whole like them getting rights thing might eventually happen, just because I think for the same reason that people aren't having kids, they're just having like pets now, so they treat them as like their kids, and I think they start loving them as like, and of course like I love our dogs and like they're our family, like I see them as our protectors here, but like I'm not to the extent of like I'm dressing them and like doing like talking. I do talk to them, but like not like having a full on conversation with them or whatever. So I feel like they'll eventually have something, because like even then, like when like your pet dies, there's like not much besides like you can go to the vet and tell them or something, and they'll do something with you for it. But that's why I'm like, I think eventually it'll be because of how people treat their pets. But I only see it with cats and dogs. But people do like what, like parrots? No, like birds.
Well, I don't know. It's like, what do people mean by rights? You know, because it's like we're having this conversation, but there's there's some people who are still like, there's actual people who are struggling for rights, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's a more important conversation right now, you know. That and like, I'll throw out that thing where like, you should also neuter your cat if you're gonna like have them outside, because then you have a bunch of like cats that don't have homes and shit. So that's another good point. Like in terms of rights, like like they have privileges. Like what do you mean by rights?
Oh, because I heard that people were saying that pets are gonna eventually replace like babies. Yeah. Because people aren't gonna have as many babies anymore. Yeah. That's why I brought it up. Like, do you think animal rights are gonna improve to where like they basically it's negligence to like leave them outside when it's raining? That's why I bring it up. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird because I feel like, not that it's negligence to leave them out, but I feel like there's other conversations before that we get there. Like pugs or like bulldogs and shit. I feel like it's a more like, I don't think those should be allowed to exist. Like I think a controversial take, I guess, but they can't even breed naturally. Like vets talk about it all the time, that they're the number one like sick animal that comes in there. Yeah. They can't breathe. It's like sad. Like, you know, I guess they look kind of cute, but
they
it's
always
sad.
have to like operate on them.
Yeah, they literally, I feel like it's weird. Like you shouldn't have an animal where it's like you're emphasizing the way it looks over its like quality of life, you know? So to me, it's weird and almost like, what's the word? Ironic that people are talking about like that, but they'll kind of like turn a blind eye to like pugs and shit. Like like when people talk about cutting the dog's ears, I feel like sure, that's like, I can understand why people think that's inhumane, but I feel like breeding pugs and shit, or like those, you've seen those little pit bulls that the pocket bullies or whatever, that are like
the French
deformed.
Oh, they're like hunched.
Oh,
they're like deformed and shit. Yeah. I feel like that's like almost, that's like disturbing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of haunting, right? Because imagine if we had like, if humans, like aliens came, right,
and they did like, that to us.
Yeah, and completely like
they inbred us.
Yeah, and there's types of us that have like pushed in faces and like can't breathe properly, but the aliens are like, oh, but they're cute. Yeah, that'd be like.
So damn. I feel like before everybody wants to like talk about all that, I think that's the more important one right now. You know, because I feel like that's super cruel. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I can agree. I guess it's talking about like species. This goes to a question I wanted to pose to you guys today. Do you guys think the world would be a better place?
You said species.
Well, no, it goes in line because people. No, this is important. The question I wanted to pose to you guys is: would the world be a better place if we didn't acknowledge race? And the reason I pose this question is because, you know, we talk about race a good amount on this show, and sometimes I see comments on our TikToks where people say that you shouldn't align yourself with a specific race. You should align yourself with humanity, like being human. So I wanted to pose that question to you guys, and I wanted to get a very candid answer on whatever you guys think about that.
I don't know about right now. Maybe like in the future, but like the distant future. Because I don't know. When I hear that, I think about when people are like, "Why you gotta bring race into everything?" You know, that kind of thing. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like not talking about it is kind of almost unfair to the people who are like super affected by it. You know what I mean? I think it kind of seems like a cheap cop out. Yeah. Or it's like, all right, like we'll give it a rest. Yeah. Now, you know?
Because I don't mean to. I hate using these terms because they trigger people in a lot of ways, but I do think to have that thought is a privileged thought. Yeah. Because it means that you're not affected by the race you were born as. Yeah. Because it's so easy to say like, oh, like I'm just human. We should all just see each other as human and not talk about races. Well, that's because like there isn't rules and laws and systemic things that affect you because of the color or the ground you were born on or where your family are from. Yeah. You know? So I wanted to bring it up because I see people comment. It's a pretty common thing that people comment whenever we talk about race. And when I was a kid, I think it's also an easy idea to get consumed by when you're younger. Because when you're younger, obviously it seems so peaceful. It's like, oh yeah, obviously, like you're right. Like, why do I got to talk about that? I'm like indigenous Mexican. Why do you got to talk about that? You're white. Like, well, why can't we just see each other as human? That's a beautiful thought to really kind of like, I guess, think. But when you look deep into it, there's a lot of problems with it. Like, people, if today we forgot about race, still a lot of rules and like laws and social like what's the word, like social norms about like when people are colorist and like people think these stereotypes are like true. And so I don't really agree either. To that extent, which is kind of sad because I understand when I was a kid, I thought that was like the peak. Like I thought it was like, like one day we're all just gonna see each other as human. Which, like I said, is easier said than done. Right. I think there's a lot of importance to seeing people's race. I don't know. Is that controversial?
I mean, I don't think it's controversial. I mean, I guess part of race is identity, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I agree. It's kind of a privileged thought when people are like, "Nah, let's not talk about that." You know, it's like, well,
I also feel like, because I keep thinking of it, and I'm kind of like, I feel like thinking of if it would be a better place if we don't talk about race anymore. But I feel like that erases a lot of like history, you know, and I feel like it doesn't acknowledge what happened. Because you said it, and I was like, well, in this scenario, if we were to be a place that doesn't talk about race, are we like, did the history that happened before not happen anymore? Like, is that what it is? Because I feel like not talking about it is just really not acknowledging like how you like said, like there's a lot of people who are very like mistreated, you know, and I mean, I guess we've kind of seen it and grown up seeing like the unfairness, you know.
No, yeah, like I don't know, it's just weird, like because equal rights just dropped like not that long ago. Like there's people alive,
still
right?
There's
people alive who grew up not having the equal rights, still alive, you know. So to suddenly be like, water under the bridge, guy, you know, like I don't know,
doesn't seem fair.
And not that long ago, everybody was still like screaming the N-word, being like, "What? It's freedom of speech, man." You know. So it's like, I don't know about that.
Especially because it relates to me when I think about like reparations, like, because reparations is a broad subject in some ways. Because talk about it with Black Americans, you can talk about it with Native Americans, you talk about it with did Jewish people get reparations? I think I don't know. I actually don't know.
I'm unaware.
But Japanese people for sure got reparations. I know that. I learned that one in history class. But stuff like that, you see, like this idea that like if we don't look at each other's race, everything will be perfect. It doesn't really make sense to me, considering I don't know, because I looked into it because I really wanted to talk about this, and people so I saw videos on people talking about reparations, and people were really torn about it, mainly specifically to the like Black Americans, and people were saying like, some Black Americans were saying like, no, like I wasn't physically there, I didn't do the work, like, so why would I get money for it? While obviously other people were saying like, no, like obviously we deserve reparations. And in the comments, it was mainly leaning towards like bro, like y'all act like you guys were the ones like working there. And I really don't agree. I really don't agree. That doesn't make any sense to me, because it's like, what a lot of people don't understand is that when like slavery ended, it wasn't just like slavery ended and like, oh, like here's land and now you can work in our jobs and we'll give you programs. Slavery basically just ended, and then they're like, all right, well, go find a house or something, like go get a job or something, you know. They didn't get anything. So obviously they're the ones who then created like their neighborhoods, which became like ghettos and like and dangerous, because they were literally given nothing, so they had to scrap for everything that they got. It doesn't mean that they're naturally like bad people.
And then the government found creative ways to like reinstill slavery without like being slavery. You know, I don't know. It's just, people act like when it ended, it was just like, all right, water under the bridge, you know? Like, we're all good.
That's why I'm like, how can you say they don't deserve reparations when to this day, like they're still affected by it.
Mhm.
Like they were given nothing. Imagine if right now everything you have, imagine yourself, everything you have, everything your parents gave you, everything that you worked for was stripped away from you, and you had to start all over from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, and then like 6 generations down, or has it even been that many generations? It's been. I wouldn't be surprised if it's for some people. It's been.
When did slavery end? Like 1860s.
Yeah.
So like
It could easily still, for some people, it could almost be just 3 generations. I think
Yeah.
I've saw that
3 people.
Yeah, it could literally just be 3 people: your great grandma, your grandma, your
Mhm.
mom, and then you. What I guess 4. But you'd be insane to think that didn't affect you.
Yeah.
You know, that like the government doing that, purposely setting you up to fail,
Mhm.
and then like setting up rules to make sure you
You don't
trip
get there.
every single step
Yeah.
of the way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
It's like, bro, like, of course they owe you something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe I brought it up because I was so heated that the comments really said
Yeah.
like, like, oh,
Yeah.
they act like they were there. Like, bro, what? It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Like, they're still affected by
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I feel like saying like not mentioning race is also like, I guess, still tolerating everything else, because
Mhm.
I feel like, I mean, I see it with us when like people insult us and they're like, oh, you guys are like, you guys should ignore it, or like you guys are being too soft about it. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, if we keep tolerating it, then it's still gonna keep happening, you know? Like, yeah, we could ignore it. We can be like, no, like this isn't, we don't want to talk about race anymore or whatever. But it's like, it's still gonna be continued with or without us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still gonna be talked about.
It'll
It's still gonna be there. Yeah.
It just won't be mentioned, and when it's hidden,
No, yeah, it's like, dude, like nobody can afford a house anymore. Like when you say like, imagine if everything got stripped from you right now. It's like you still even can't compare it. You know, like you can't even compare it to being like homeless, because it's not like they were homeless. They were slaves. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
don't forget like the word slavery, what that means. You know, like their property. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like going back to like the dogs and cats. It's like telling like what the you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
they were seen as on that level. You know.
Yeah.
Which like I don't know.
Yeah, that's why and it's so weird because I remember I used to feel weird about talking about these things because obviously
Yeah.
I'm not black or I don't have
Yeah.
any black family members. But I remember I saw a really good point that somebody made where it's like it's not a bad thing to advocate for people who aren't you.
Mhm.
Like it'd be selfish to only care about people who are like you, right?
Yeah.
And I see the biggest in like when people always bring up that statistic of like, oh, like Black Lives Matter, but yet they make up like a lot of the crime rate or something.
Mm.
But I'm like, bro, but it's because they literally like
And
they were enslaved. They were
They're-
slaves, and then they got given nothing. Like
yeah.
obviously you're gonna be part of that group because
Yeah.
like you didn't have the privileges that you did when
Yeah.
if your family's been here
Police.
for hundreds of years, and then
And there's
and
like
then-
rules and regulations that
Yeah.
go against you.
so that shit's always pissed me off because I feel like it's so common for people not to like acknowledge that.
Mhm.
Like I don't know why. It's so simple. Literally, just look at history.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Well,
what
I think it's easier for like, especially you guys to grasp too, because like you guys know what it's like to like be judged by the color of your skin. I also think it's easier for minority groups to like understand, but I think white people just don't get it. Because it's like they just don't get it. Like they've never been put in that position, and so they think of like, so like because people like project, you know, like when you see another minority, like you empathize with them because you're like, I know to a degree what you're going through, but white people can't do that. I mean, unless they have to be like educated and stuff like that. But you know, it's like
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
I get you.
difference. And they're obviously the majority. They're like most of the country, you know. So it's like, what can you do?
most of are they like what's the biggest race group in the world? I want to say
It's not Asians.
it might be Asians. It might be Asians.
I think it's because I think China and India are the 2 most
yeah.
populated.
No, yeah, I think so.
like that's already 2
probably
Asian
Asians.
countries. So
No, yeah, because I think I mean, obviously, people who are European descendant, they had a lot of what do you say, blessings? Like a lot of no, like a lot of just prosperity. Like they just had a lot of prosperity. Obviously, they took because they colonized most of the world. So I think also white people. There's more white people in the world than there are, I think, even minorities.
yeah,
Right. So I think that's why I mainly see that idea. It's because like a lot of people have kind of like the white supremacist mindset
yeah.
of that, and this is no diss to white people. I mean, my sister's boyfriend is white, so like,
Yeah.
like I don't hate on white people either, but it's just like, It sucks that like stuff like this always kind of like seems to be like a color issue sometimes.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know. It's weird. I don't. It's weird how people get so defensive about it. Like, you know, like what's so wrong with admitting that? You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess like people act like, even people who aren't like, I guess, directly affected in the way that like people who aren't subject to institutionalized racism and stuff like that. It's like they have this weird idea that the government's like on their side. Like, it's like you act like they care about you, like that like they defend them like it's like their family or whatever. It's like they don't care about you, dude. Like,
Yeah,
but
it's true.
I don't know.
But moving on a little.
Yeah.
I have another question to ask you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's important for people to experience trauma in their life?
If it's important?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I feel like people in general shouldn't go through trauma, but I know that trauma kind of like builds like yourself and who you are in a way, and like, but I think that's also speaking on like, say I went through something traumatic and then I kind of thrived through it. There's a lot of people who don't thrive through their traumas, you know, and I don't know. I feel like trauma is just, I see it as really bad sometimes, or I'm kind of like, I don't want people to go through traumas, you know? And I don't think people deserve to go through a lot of those things. But I think it's a very like, what's the word? Inevitable? Like, it's just something that people kind of go through.
You think so? You think it's inevitable? You think everybody experiences trauma in their life? You think no one's ever lived and died without it?
Trauma?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you think so?
There's so many people in the world. Yeah, there's somebody who's had
a great life.
Yeah, great life. You think so?
100%.
Probably like someone rich and.
I guess my opinion on it is I feel like.
Well, because you know
trauma's kind of like a. I don't know if that's the right word, and I think kind of saying that is also kind of in that same vein of like speaking in a position of privilege, because like. I think people who are like saying like trauma is necessary and you grow from it and stuff like that, like, yeah, sure. But I think it's people who say that are probably because they've gone through something and have come out on the other side. Yeah. But like Julie was saying, there's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who don't. Who like, I guarantee you they would not agree.
Yeah.
Who lost everything, who never got it back, who don't see the like. So I think.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I don't think I would want.
That's why I don't know about that. I think more what people might mean is like it's important to experience like failure, like because that can be like small, like you fail a test and you study harder on the next one. But like trauma, I don't know about that. Like like you know, like I think it's one of those things where it's romanticized heavily. Like you know what I mean? Like people think it's kind of cool and stuff like that, and like. But
I guess because I'm just thinking about the quotes of like, hard times make hard times make hard men, and
hard men create easy times create weak men create hard times.
Yeah. Have you heard that? And it's just a quote that people say. And
I don't think I've heard the full thing. I've heard the beginning, I think.
No, but like I'm not saying that like if you're going through something, like just give up, like you're not coming out the other side, you know? Like, all right, so just to wrap it up, I was just saying that like you know, I think trauma's kind of like a romanticized thing, you know, like you see it in on TikTok and stuff, where like people like make edits and stuff, and you know what I mean. But there's a darker like reality to a lot of it, where you know people don't make it out of it, and I don't know. I'm not trying to sound like a downer. I just don't.
You're not, dude.
I just don't think
You're
that. Because I don't want people to listen to this who are going through it and like being like, oh, I should just go. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't think that it's like. The point I'm trying to make is I think what people mean is like you should go through challenging times, but I don't think challenging times and trauma are synonymous. You know what I mean? I think trauma is a lot more serious than people give it credit for. You know what I mean? But yeah. So like, yeah, if you want to say going through challenging times is necessary and like it makes you into a better person, 100%. I agree with that. But trauma, like actual trauma, like when I think of trauma, I think of like assaults, ugly, really like real world stuff that like I don't think is like
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah,
You, that's good. I mean, yeah, either way, like if somebody is listening to it who is going through it, I believe in you.
yeah, no, yeah,
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. Yeah,
You'll be more than all right.
yeah.
Usually, I like to think that the universe works in kind of like balance. If you're going through a hard time, it usually means that somewhere else you're gonna go through a really good time. You know? It's like I once saw like an analogy for it, where it was like a basketball, right? When you push your basketball off of like a cliff, obviously it's gonna go steep down, which is like the bad times. Then it's gonna hit like a rock bottom, and it's gonna peak up, which is gonna give you as big of a like uphill, and then it's gonna go down, and then until eventually it just evens out. And you're
I saw something on like on TikTok. It was one of those actors like roundtables. I don't know I forgot who it was, but I mean I'm sure people have seen it. The guy was saying that like he didn't like how his life was like highs and really lows. He just wished it was stable. And he said like his therapist or something was like, well, if you look at a heart monitor, it's always going like that. And if you had things the way you wanted it, which was like stable, you'd be flatlined. You'd be dead.
Wow. You know, wait to invalidate my analogy, bro.
No,
but that's real. Yeah. But I guess I'll move on to my hot take of the week. I guess this would be a regular thing that I just present to you guys. So this week's hot week. What?
Hot take of the week.
Hot take of the week.
Hot week.
Hot week. Yeah. That'll be the short version.
It's
of it.
cold week.
It is a cold week. It's so basically what it is that it says that every person in our generation now lives their life with this idea of an invisible audience kind of always viewing them. So it's probably an effect of everybody having like a phone or cameras being everywhere. But it was this take saying that everybody kind of then creates a character that they show to the world. That people have this persona that is maybe inauthentic or disingenuous. And they present that to the world in order to kind of, I guess, gain validation of not only your existence, but also of your success. Like maybe you're happy, like you're out, let's say you're out and about, you're out with your friends, you take a picture, you caption it, something funny. It's for somebody else rather than it is for you, right? Do you think that's a valid take? Do you think that most people really live life like that? Or do you think it's a weak take? WEAK.
I'll answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Do you think you'd be a different person if cameras didn't exist and like records didn't exist? Like if texts and stuff like that didn't exist? Do you think, I'm not saying do you think you'd be a villain?
Yeah.
But do you think you'd be a different person?
I for sure would be a different person, yeah.
Well, there you go. I think that like it's good and bad because I think like people, because I think about that.
Well, yeah. Well, it's so funny because you're answering my question with a question, and I might answer this hot take with a hot take. But for me, I've always had a weird relationship with technology and like social media, where I actually feel like social media and my phone made me a better person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's what I mean by I think I would be a different person is because I think I would be ignorant to a lot of things that I wouldn't know. I'd be like, for sure I'd have like dumb takes about like race and like
some people say we still do
politics. I for sure would be fucking like I wouldn't be able to look things up as easily. I would be so close-minded because I wouldn't see the world.
Yeah.
So I for sure would be a different person. But okay, now that I answered your question, how does that relate back to the hot take?
I guess like I do think people are like that, but I don't necessarily think it's all bad. I mean, sure, but I think it's kind of like it weirdly like it's almost like a consequence now. Like before, like let's say some actor walks up to you and calls you like a slur, and there's no phones, nothing, like there's nothing like that. Who's gonna fucking believe you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who? Like, let's say Jake Gyllenhaal went up to your dad and did that. You know, who's gonna fucking believe you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's to stop you from doing that? But with this, if I text you something like that, or you catch me on camera saying something like that, there's consequences to my actions. You know, there's now like consequences. I mean, you can even take it to like a way more serious like take it way more seriously, like with police, right? Rodney King, right? That was happening all the time. It still happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have phones, everybody's like seeing it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. People are changed. People are different. But I think it's like weird because it's like a record almost, like a book of who you are a little bit, you know? Because like, I don't know, like even, well, I mean, little, like there's stuff I wouldn't say on here, but I might say to your face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just thinking about also because I know some people who grew up lonely and kind of insecure.
Mm-hmm.
To them, social media is very much a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Where the likes and the comments and the views makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so often to kind of shame those people. Like, shame on you for feeling like any type of like
joy.
Well, yeah, the internet likes that. Shame on you
Yeah.
for feeling any type of joy. But specifically people who like actually care about like that type of stuff, they get shamed a lot.
Yeah.
But I wonder if is it a bad way of like, is it unhealthy? Is it really unhealthy?
I mean, I'm sure there's like an unhealthiness to it, you know, like with everything. Like that point where people say like when you see people on Instagram, it's more like the highlights of their life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you guys see like me post like a meme on my private story, right?
Yeah.
It's you're kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be different if I was like, yeah, like you know, like I'm
Another
actually,
bad day, guys.
yeah, like you know,
another
but
L.
from your point of view, or people who at least don't know me, you're like, this guy is just all joy and happiness. Like he's such a like happy-go-lucky guy, you know. You don't see the rest of my life where it's like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's like the unhealthiness where like
Yeah.
you see everybody's like
I-
having a great
yeah, go ahead.
time.
No, I was gonna say I feel like I think people having, I guess, like personas when they post or whatever. I think it is different when you know them, because sometimes you could be like, oh, that's funny, like they have a persona, or depending if you like them or you don't like them, you're like, oh, that's annoying, like why are you acting like somebody who you're not, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a new way of life of like, I think we're just so used to our phones and technology. And I think personally speaking, for me, I feel like I don't really post a lot, but when I do, I sometimes just do it just because like I have a lot of long distance friends, and it's kind of their way of catching up with me and me kind of catching up with them when they like post something. But like people having, I guess, their own personas on the internet, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think as long as they're not harming anyone, I would say that it's fine if they want to act who they want to act on the internet. You know, it's for them, and if like, and it's only for them if they know it's healthy or not healthy. You know, because there's also like only so much where you can tell them like, oh, stop being on your phone or whatever. But it's like if that's who they are, then it's like they're gonna do it.
Because it's also probably unhealthy to like, I guess, care about other people's opinions as much, right? Because you know, I was saying the likes and the comments and the views to some people could feel very like empowering, but it's also like you shouldn't gain your happiness from someone else, right?
That's true.
No matter in what, even in going as small as like relationships and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I also don't fault people, because I think people who do that, it's probably because
something's going on.
They weren't loved as kids, you know. Like genuinely, like it's probably what's going on.
And I feel like at least when I see someone post something, I always do try to acknowledge it, because I feel like there's a lot of people who post and they put a lot of thought into it. Like, because I feel like sometimes some people try to promote maybe their art, or like some people just try to promote like the way that they saw something, or like
I thought you were gonna say that like sometimes you pay attention to people's posts because it's like a cry for help. I thought that's
no. Yeah. Usually, I feel like people put a lot of thought into what they post. Sometimes,
so?
I sometimes think some people,
you're
some
like,
people
not me.
Well, because you like doing like memes and stuff and all that, and
I don't know.
Kind of like you just
I
post
want
it.
people to laugh. I don't know. But, I don't know.
But you put your thought into like making people laugh, though. You know?
Do I?
Do
Maybe.
you?
I don't know.
Are you very me?
I don't think everyone, but I think a good amount of people
put thought.
Nah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Because I feel like, I mean, at least on my side, I feel like a lot of I guess people that I follow are just very artsy. That like they use their platform to kind of promote
Sneak
that.
this. She's like, I guess the people I follow are a lot more.
I guess the like
creative.
Yeah.
I always thought I don't know. I always think I always find some other meanings with your memes.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Oh,
Like,
you tell me. You'll tell me off
wow.
air. No, but I mean, I think it's like any other thing, right? Like, there's benefits and hazards to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just don't get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Dude, it's funny that like we live in an era too that
We live in a what? A society?
No, we live in an era. We live in an era where like these things are a lot more serious than they were when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, it's like, bro, what?
Goofy.
Like you're taking like Instagram serious and everybody's posting like super like crispy like deep fried pictures of themselves doing like duck face.
Yeah.
But like now it your phone has become like an extension of yourself. To where I think you're right. I think based on what people post, I think sometimes it could be a cry for help. I think people do post what's going on in their life. For those of you who don't know this, but we talk about this all the time off air. I told my sister a long time ago that there's a little bit of truth to every joke. And my sister never lets it go now because now we can't joke about anything. But I told her today that it's not meant to be super literal. Like it's not. When people joke about stuff, what I mean by there's a little bit of truth is that something in their joke comes from something they're thinking. It doesn't mean that it's literally like, let's say I joked about like I fucking hate my sister, right?
Yeah.
Like I obviously don't fucking hate my sister.
Yeah.
But it's coming from something else, right? I'm like, maybe right now I feel distant with my sister.
Yeah.
Right now I feel like my sister, she has like a lot of aggression towards me. This isn't like,
or maybe or maybe the joke is that you love your sister a lot and it's like an ironic joke,
exactly.
You know?
That's what I mean by it isn't literal. It means that the truth is that it's coming from something.
I don't know.
I mean that the joke is coming from something where there's a truth there. But it doesn't mean it's literally what the joke is.
You know what I think's gonna happen?
What?
I don't think it's that serious. But I think I think eventually like there's gonna be a lot of technology, a lot more, like where it's like everywhere. That I think there's gonna be like a trend, maybe like for a decade, like with the hippie movement, where people are like off technology. Like,
I can see that.
Like I think like maybe the next generation, like maybe it won't be our thing. I kind of hope it is because like
I don't think it'll be alright.
I want that dub, but I just think you know how like film camera came back, even though we have these that like take pictures. I think it'll be like that, where for a little bit they'll be like, you know what, fuck all this, man. We're gonna no technology for it. So I think that'll happen with like social media and stuff. Like,
I can see it happening.
Like there'll be like some cool mysterious guy who's like, I don't have social media, you know.
Oh,
and that'll be cool, you know. Like,
yeah.
And then for like a decade that'll be like a thing, and then it won't be, but I think that'll happen.
Yeah, I can see it. It's funny. This moves on to our next topic. Me and my sister have been rewatching Full House.
Yeah.
And we both didn't realize how much we've actually seen Full House because we were watching the show and we were like, holy shit, like this shit's like crystal clear. Like I remember every joke. I remember every sentence they say. But there's a lot to bring up that like it made me think about the 80s a lot.
Yeah.
It made me think about just past eras. Would you live in a different era if you could?
Probably not. I mean,
excuse the racism, you know. Like,
so like, let's say I could live in an era minus the racism. Like,
yeah, minus the racism. Yeah, don't worry. You don't have to worry about the racism. I really like the 80s.
I'm glad you added the minus the racism because what I'm about to say would have been like, whoa.
Really? Which era?
Probably like the 50s.
Really?
I like that like nuclear like vibe of it, where everything's like super like retro futurism. I think that shit's cool. Or like this like I don't know. There's something cool about it.
In a way, it's as if the new world is still yet to be discovered in a way.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because it's just the 50s.
Yeah.
But it's like, because LA probably most of it was like fields and stuff.
Yeah.
People didn't have phones. So,
yeah.
Because that's one of the things I noticed in Full House that I think is so interesting. So, in one of the first episodes, Danny Tanner, you know who Danny Tanner is?
He's
basically the dad. Bob Saget. Bob Saget's character. Yeah.
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. He goes, he's BoJack Horseman?
He doesn't play BoJack Horseman, but BoJack Horseman is based on him.
Really?
Yeah, that's what people say. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't even know. Anyways, you just blew my mind. But anyways, uh, there's this episode where he's interviewing this like famous boxer who came out of retirement, basically Tom Brady. And he's going in for one more fight because he thinks he's got it. And then he accidentally live on TV is interviewing him and tells him that his wife left him, and he didn't know. The boxer didn't know.
Yeah.
And so the boxer's like all sad, and he's like, "Oh, like it's time for your fight." And he goes and he loses. He gets knocked out in 12 seconds in the first round. And all the interviewers then interview Danny Tanner, and they're like, "Oh, like how do you feel or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, he's like whatever." He's like fucking like upset, and he goes home. And he just like buries his face in the bed, and he's like, like that sucked. And he asks family like, "I sucked, huh, today on the interview?" They're like, "Yeah, you did." And then whatever, they just resolve. They give him like a sandwich or whatever. He feels better. But I thought about how it's so funny because you couldn't do that storyline nowadays.
Yeah.
Because nowadays he'd be like canceled. He'd be getting DMs of like the boxers like bans, like being like, "Hey yo, like
you really ruined
it." It would literally like he'd go viral overnight. Like he'd basically get launched into stardom. And it's funny that in the 80s that didn't happen just because people didn't have phones. So it's like I don't know who the fuck that guy was. Like, and I thought about how, like, in a way, it's so peaceful because when you went home, you wouldn't go on social media. You wouldn't go on TikTok. You wouldn't go on Instagram. You'd maybe watch TV, but for the most part, you see, like, I wonder what my brother's up to. I wonder what my mom's up to. Like, let's see what they're up to. Like, let's go outside. And this isn't me to say like, oh, I was born in the wrong generation or anything, but I just think it's so interesting that like those are things that you'll never get to experience now, being in 2023. Because you can put your phone away, like you can like say what's up to your family members, but they still exist.
Well, I guess it's weird because it's like I think about that line in Dazed and Confused. Is it the 60s or 70s that takes place in?
It takes place in the 70s.
I know like the 70s is so like lame, but it's like it's supposed to be like a meta joke.
Yeah, can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the so that for those who haven't seen it, Dazed and Confused is a movie that was made in the 90s but takes place in the 70s. And there's this one scene in it where it's all the high school seniors. They're talking about how lame the 70s is, right? Because they're just getting into the 70s. And they're like, man, like the 50s rocked, the 60s were groovy, and the 70s suck. Like, man, like I wish we lived in the past, which is supposed to be funny, right? Because it's like, obviously everybody loves the 70s now, and everybody thinks it was like one of the best eras. Even me, like I know I'm like loving the 80s, but I would also go back to the 70s. Yeah, I would be a teenager in the 70s. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, that seems like, I don't know. It just seems really cool.
Oh yeah, but like that being said, I guarantee you, like I don't know, in 2040, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I wish I could just have an iPhone, Because I don't know what they'll have.
I wish I grew up in 2023.
Yeah, or they'll be taking pictures in the wrong era. They'll have like super high def cameras, but then they'll be like taking a picture on an iPhone, because that'll be like a throwback. You know what I mean?
Oh, they'll take a picture with your iPhone 26X.
Take because you know how people use the old camcorders and it looks cool now. Bro, I remember when we actually had camcorders and being like, bruh, oh my god,
bruh.
Like how Polaroids came back and all
that.
No,
yeah, that's why.
I mean, Polaroids are still cool.
No, but now I see like on TikTok, because I see a lot of cinematography. I think the camcorders looks dope as fuck.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
And I like kind of want one.
Yeah, same.
But it's weird because it's like at the time. So I think I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why probably now.
That's why I guess this is why we should be grateful and enjoy now, because one day people are gonna look back and think these were the golden years.
Yeah. No, but that being said, I think no matter what, like it's always gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Like go ahead.
No, I always think about how kind of like I grew up, and like as a kid, because I also see like my nephew, and like he's always playing like something like on a phone or like on TV. He'll watch TV. I feel like I really liked how I grew up without like, I guess, technology and TV. Like I actually would go outside and like play. Or like
she is a millennial.
Yeah, like I really liked the fact that I grew up that way and I didn't get a phone until like high school. Same. I liked how I kind of just grew up that way, and I don't know. I sometimes think about my kids and I'm like, damn, should I raise them the same? But I know it's gonna be like a different time.
They're gonna be the weird kids, bro.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is we talked about it before, but like I didn't have a phone until maybe 8th grade, I think, actually. I don't remember. But I think before that I had the one that had buttons, but it was
the BlackBerry.
I might as no, I wasn't a BlackBerry. I might as well should have not had a phone anyway. But
they had your ass struggling out here.
But I also didn't play video games. Like I never really did that
yeah.
growing up, so I was never really like a tech. I just didn't do that. So I'd like ride around the neighborhood like on my bike or something, you know. But I have memories where like I ate like gnarly shit, or like and I probably could have died, or like I have a memory of almost getting hit by a car, and it was completely on me. It wasn't the guy.
What happened?
You know how sometimes there's like driveways or outlets, and there's like a wall that shields it. Like you can't see that there's something like
yeah.
So I was just flying down, and like the car slammed on its brakes, and like it was gonna hit me if it didn't. Like if the guy wasn't paying attention, he would have hit me, and thank God he didn't. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But thinking back on that, I think about like if I have kids, I'm like, damn, like I want them to go out and play, but I feel like the world seems so crazy. Like I'm scared. I don't want them to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens when you get older.
Yeah, because I keep thinking of like, at least when like thinking of like the times that we are in now, right? Of like, I feel like my kids would get bullied maybe if they're like, you don't have a phone, like that's lame, like no, you're lame. And I'm like, I don't know, because I feel like because I think I had a very good childhood of not having that. Because I see our nephew, and sometimes I'm like, man, I wish he didn't like play those games, or like he wasn't so stuck on like watching something on TV. Like I wish he would just like want to go outside or something like that. Because I always think of when just our imaginations of like, remember when we used to play, at least this was in Mexico, when we used to play like house, and we would do like our food, and it was just cutting up plants and stuff.
Play house.
Bro, being a kid was fucking trippy. I think about all the time about how I get anxious about like if I had kids in the future. I don't know why, but kind of like you, like I'd hope they're not like me, because I did a lot of stupid shit as a kid, and I got hurt a lot, and like I put myself in danger a lot, and like and as me as a person, I'm happy I did, because it was fun, and like I didn't die. I'm here right now, but like I'm scared that my kids wouldn't have the same luck. Yeah, because.
Well, somebody brought. I mean, I don't know if we talked about it before on the show, but I've seen it a bunch on TikTok where people were like, "Do you remember being a kid and like just nobody knew where you were, like because you didn't have a phone?" That's like, oh yeah, I remember just like theoretically, like nobody knew where I was. Like if I was lost or needed help, I was kind of screwed, you know. But now thinking about that, like if I had kids, like what do you mean? Like I don't know where you are. Like it's kind of not that I like have to like track them, but like. Them not being able to like call me, because like I didn't carry around like quarters like to use like a payphone, and I didn't memorize like I did memorize a few phone numbers, but
I memorized my parents' phone numbers.
Yeah,
and when we had a house phone, it's funny. It's funny. We used to have house phones, and then my parents had like cell phones, and I always remembered our house number, but I could only remember it in Spanish. Like so even my parents like phone number, I think my mom's is the only one that I know like in English, but even my dad's, like the only way I can remember it to myself is if I repeat it in Spanish. Yeah
I remember growing up too, graduating from being like a little kid to doing more like what's the word, dangerous, but not like I was like
gangs,
like I was in gangs and like fucking like trading drugs or whatever. Just like I guess moving from that step it was a really beautiful moment. That's what I mean, where like I kind of do wish if I have kids in the future, they'd experience something like that. But like I got lucky. I remember I was in downtown LA. I had to have been like 14. I was a freshman, and I was hanging out with my friends in high school. And these were like all new friends. Now I've still known them, so they're not as strange as they were. But I remember we found this like abandoned house like near Echo Park that was like that had been burned down, so it was like abandoned, and there was like this gate like on it, And I remember my friend, he started like climbing it, and he's like, "Come on, guys, let's sink in. Like, let's go see. Like, it's still there." And I remember just thinking like, "Fuck! Like, these are the bad friends my mom warned me about.
Yeah.
Like, my mom told me to look out for like your friends or whatever." And I was already thinking like, "Should I just run away? Like, should I just leave them?" Because the same thing. Like, it was four of us, and one of my friends was already climbing it, and the other guy was like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah.
So the other guy's starting, and then the third guy, he's like, like he was also kind of like, I don't know, like should we get in? We're only like 14 years old. And then finally I was like, fuck it. I mean, I hope nothing happens. So I climbed in and I snuck into this super trippy, like cool, like abandoned house in like in Echo Park that's like on the side of like one of the mountains, so you could see like the skyline of LA at night. And we're in there, and this abandoned house, and we're just looking out the window, and the glass is broken. And I remember just feeling so like, wow, like everything's okay. Like I didn't get in trouble. Like nothing's bad. I didn't get scraped. I didn't get hurt. And we're just here like chilling out. And then there was even an easier way to get out because it was kind of like the house was up here. And the way we got in was down here. There was a gate, and we climbed up, and so it was attached to a street that was on the same level as it was. And when we left, there was like an easy exit, and it made me feel like, wow, like if I had left, because I genuinely was thinking about just running away.
Yeah.
I was thinking about just running away. I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to mess around with these bad kids, right? But nothing happened. And from that point on, obviously, we just did more shit like that. And, like, I would just break into more, like, abandoned places like that. And nothing ever happened to me. I mean, there was once where, I mean, cops, like pulled up. But and we, like, ran away because we're kids. And I'm sure they fucking... If we were adults, they probably would have chased us. Yeah. But we were kids, so we had our best cardio. And moments like that make me, like, want to be, like, I hope my kids experience that. But I have that anxiety of like, I don't know, maybe I was just lucky.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I sometimes think about that. What about you guys? You guys never did anything like that when you guys were kids or younger? No?
No. I was always at home. At least from what I remember. Because I remember, I mean, my parents wouldn't really let me go out that much.
Did you want to go out?
I think there were times when I did. Like when I would want to hang out with like my friends. But my and papi were always like, no, you can't go.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Damn.
I think that sucks. Like growing up and hearing about like kids who like their parents wouldn't let them do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, come on, bro. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I guess it's a fine line, right?
Yeah. Well, because I never told my parents that. Even the time I got chased by the police, I remember I had cut my hand up. I think this is usually when you were already in college, because I was probably like a junior. I cut my hand up on like some barbed wire, and I remember we had to exit through the train tracks all the way down to this like factory. And I called my dad because I'm like, I was scared. Like I don't want to go to jail or anything for trespassing. So I told him to pick me up like in this specific spot, like where there was like this McDonald's, and he did. And I used the McDonald's as a way of like, oh, we were just at McDonald's. But really, I was I cut through like the back of these train tracks to get into the McDonald's, all fucking like covered in dirt, my hand bleeding. And I didn't want my dad to know, even though like I love my dad and I trusted him. I just felt like there was like this guilt, you know? And in a way, it also felt good. Like it felt good not to tell him. And because of that, I'm like, bro, if I have kids and they're doing shit like that and they're not telling me, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? You know? That's why I'm not going to have kids.
In conclusion.
Yeah, in conclusion. This is all to say, I don't know. You know, I was pretty wild when I was younger. There's a lot of things that not even you guys know. Well, the only people who know is my brother. Because one time I made my brother be my fake dad once.
I know about that.
Yeah. But you don't know the full story.
I know about that too.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I ever got into like wild shit like that.
I feel like I always had enough sense to like, I never put myself in a situation that like I couldn't get out of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for that. I would be more worried that like my kids wouldn't have that sense of like, but I think that's just the way I think. Like I don't like being in situations where like I can't get myself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
kind of like we're like, let's say gambling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand gambling. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But like, I would never put myself in a situation where I bet everything on the line. Because then, fuck it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just worried my kid wouldn't have the sense to like do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because it's also circumstance, right? Because I know for me, I always wanted to do stuff like that. Because in a way, I was like proving myself to like what?
YOLO.
No. It wasn't just for no reason. For me, it was I always thought about my older brother. Like I looked up a lot to my older brother, like growing up, and I always thought that he was really crazy and like did a lot of crazy stuff. And I always, I guess, had the sense that I wanted to like top it. Like I wanted to do even crazier stuff. So it just became this routine of like, oh, how can I top that? Like, how can I like? Oh, I was running away from the cops and I cut myself. Like, what's next? Like, let's fucking like steal
a guy.
Let's kill the guy. It wasn't that far. The most we would like steal shit and like stuff like that.
I guess because Stevie had an inspiration.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't like I wouldn't even say it was an inspiration. It was more of like I wanted him to see me,
to acknowledge you.
Yeah, I wanted him to see me that like because when you're a little brother, I feel like you kind of you feel little like you feel at least this is me. You feel like I don't know, you're not on par, and you're always, at least to me, growing up, I always wanted to reach that whatever it took, whatever it takes
to be on his par.
Yeah. So I guess that's what that's
the thumbs up.
Yeah, that's the whole explanation of why I was acting out as a kid. Yeah. Well, I never acted out at home. Like I said, nobody at home ever knew. Yeah. But in the streets, I was different.
Well, now they know.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them watch this. I don't think any of them watch this.
But I guess that's why I was like, we grew up differently, I guess.
Yeah. It's so funny because we were in the same house, and we were like 2 ages apart.
Yeah, but I think both of us kind of just grew up differently because you were a guy and I was a girl.
Yeah.
At least that's how I see it.
But you never had, so you had the urge to do all the stuff I would do?
No. I didn't really know like those things. I think I was more of like, because I was so attached to like mom and dad that I was more of like, I don't want to do shit that I knew was going to disappoint them. So I kind of was like in that mindset of like, I don't want to get into trouble. And I think
sneak this.
And I think for myself, I think I had like I guess as a girl, I had gotten myself in enough trouble with them that I was kind of like, I already know. Like, it's kind of like hearing them say shit, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to hear it again, so I'm not going to do it again. Or I'm not going to do something that's going to, I guess, trigger them or, like, something for them to lash out at me again like they did. And I think that's just how I saw it kind of growing up. And that's why I was like, I don't think I want to get involved in anything that... Because I feel like in general, because of the fact that they were so involved in my life, that I felt like I didn't want them to be even more involved of whatever I had going on in my life. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it does. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just how it was for me.
No, yeah, you're valid. I remember growing up, I always felt like you got like a lot more like attention from mom and dad. So I feel like that's valid. I get why you were like more of like, nah, like I don't want to do something that then is gonna like double or triple that. So I get it. No,
like have more attention than what I already have. Yeah. I think that's how I kind of just grew up with it. Yeah. And I think that's why I was just like, I'm not gonna do shit. I'm just gonna stay home.
Like, but did you enjoy it at least? Did you enjoy staying home?
At least, yeah. I mean, from the times that I was, because I feel like, I think that's what made me like school a lot more. I didn't like learning and shit, but I like
learning.
I like the fact that I could see my friends, because I think for me that's how I saw it. I saw that was the time when I could only see my friends because I couldn't really like go out and do stuff. So I like the fact of like meeting people and all that stuff. I just didn't like how we had to like write shit.
You didn't like the school part of school?
And like, yeah, I didn't like taking like tests and quizzes, and I didn't like how teachers were sometimes. And I'm kind of like, you're like an extra parent to me, and that feels horrible. But I liked socializing and I liked meeting my friends at school, which is why I liked it. But
that's so interesting because we were talking about before the show. At least me, like I miss school. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I've in real life when people talk about this, I always say that school is kind of a one size fits all like program. And because of that, obviously a lot of people don't fit. Like it doesn't work for them. But I guess I was just born with like being one of the people where the system, like, I don't know, that's how I learn, I guess. The way people teach is the way I learn. So I always felt like I really enjoyed school. Like I always had this urge to want to like learn more things. Like I remember feeling so fucking nerdy when I was like little because on YouTube I watched like Vsauce and shit, and like I'd watch like, oh, like what is like if you build like the perfect hammer, like or like what can you really make to make sure like it lasts forever or stuff. Like I'd watch like a lot of like science videos and stuff. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a scientist when I was a kid. I really wanted to like work in science. And I don't know why. I really can't like wrap my mind around it. It's just it was something that I always kind of enjoyed. I always enjoyed school.
I think the reason I didn't like it is because in elementary it was a lot more like punishment. Like schoolwork was a lot more just punishment. And that's how teachers did it. Because I remember, I think fourth, fifth, and then sixth grade, if like one student was bad at multiplications, then we would all get punished for it. And I just remember we didn't learn anything but multiplications going from like fourth to fifth grade. And then from fifth grade to sixth grade, we were still just learning multiplications. And I was like, is this all we were going to learn in math class?
Yeah.
And I just saw it as like a chore. I didn't, and I think that's why for me, like, especially like coming back home and then like my parents being like, well, you need to get like at least B's and A's. I was like, okay, then I'm just going to study. And I think that's why, like, I would just study just to memorize, but I wouldn't take anything at, like that's why I said like history. I don't know that shit because I was just memorizing just so I can pass the quiz. And also I think it's just because I have a really bad memory that I can't remember like most things. But that's why I'm like, for school and for everything, I kind of just learned it just to pass, and that's it. Like I didn't really take anything in, so. I remember some things, but I don't remember that much.
Yeah, because that is funny. Because I remember for me, my class was like the golden kids. Do you remember that, Brendan?
Yeah, I hated that shit.
Yeah. How was it for you?
Fucking sucked. Because we had to do fucking, I don't know. I didn't like that shit. I thought it was annoying. Like we'd have to do standards for homework or some shit, or like because one kid wouldn't like talk during church. We'd have to write down this transcript of the entire mass like 9 times over. Yeah. Over the weekend, which is also annoying. And if you didn't do that, you get detention, and it just keeps adding up. So it's like, I don't know. I get what you mean when it seemed like all punishment, you know?
Or even in, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, someone didn't read a book. So then I think it was the principal. I don't think it was like the actual teacher, but the principal was like, well, because you guys didn't read the book, now you guys have to write the whole book, like by hand, and like repeated. So like we would have to, or I think it was a chapter.
I remember them. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I remember some people would get the punishment of having to copy the dictionary. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Some people would have to like, all right, copy the dictionary, like the entire dictionary. What the fuck? I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember. I do remember that. Yeah. There was a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is that like when you're a kid, I remember that. And I remember even as a kid thinking like, damn, like fucking doing the most. But I'm like, whatever. Like it's not me, right? But now I'm being an adult, and I'm like, damn, I know for you guys, like that shit must have sucked, bro. Like. That shit must have been fucking.
Because I remember, and I still remember my and Bobby were like, go to bed, and I was like, no, I have to finish writing the whole entire book. And then my mom was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I remember I started crying because I was like, I don't get why I have to write the whole entire book, like. And she's like, well, I'll make a note for your teacher that like your ass had to go to bed, like, so don't do it anymore. And I remember I didn't finish it, but I remember just having like anxiety of like, bro, like I didn't finish it. I'm gonna get in trouble again.
Damn. Oh my god.
So that's why I was like, I always saw like school and all that as like the school and the learning was always just like a chore or like it was like a punishment. But like that's why I was like, the thing that I enjoyed most of school was just my friends and like that I was there to like talk to them and hang out with them. But everything else was like, I didn't like it. I didn't like the tests. I didn't like the quizzes, all that.
Do you think that's why school's falling off now?
What do you mean?
You haven't heard that a lot of colleges are having like lowest enrollment like than ever before?
No, I don't think so. To that, I think it's probably because degrees don't mean anything anymore. You know what I mean? Unless obviously if you're like specialized, but they don't really mean anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's more because of that.
I think there's just a lot
also,
of things.
It's way
into
too
it.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's like unaffordable. It's ridiculously expensive now to get get a higher education, right?
Yeah.
The pandemic, people.
I think teachers are also not getting treated well.
Oh yeah.
You know, there isn't that much funding going into school anymore.
So
I think it's
is
just a
school
lot of
gonna die?
things.
Do you
It's
guys
not
think
gonna
school is
die.
important though?
Yeah,
I think so, but it's just like there's like not. It's weird because I feel like there's always been the talk of like you should get your higher education or like you should get an education in general, but like yet like at least the school systems aren't being supported enough or funded enough to like support everyone, you know? Like teachers, whether it's students, and then there's like other shit that goes on with like especially seeing like shootings going on in schools and like just specific trainings that have to be done for like teachers. There's just a lot in it. I think it's necessary at least to know like your basics, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like there's just not much being done to be able to get those resources sometimes. Cause like, yeah, it could be expensive, you know? To even buy supplies, you know? For like, if you, depending on like, if you also have a lot of kids that you have to like put into school and all that. And then plus that if you have like a work job and like all that. So I don't know.
In college, you know what I hated? When we'd have to buy a book for the class. And I don't mean like a textbook. I mean when it was the homework book.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then it sometimes be the professors wrote the book.
yeah, I'd be like, man, I hated that fucking shit.
Because you're paying for them, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, I'm already whatever.
I'm already dropping like $3,000.
Yeah, for this fucking class. Bro.
$3,000 for the class. Yeah.
Nah, but I mean, if I was a teacher and I heard about all this like school shooting shit, I'd be pretty upset that they weren't doing anything. I don't remember. I probably should have, but I didn't know we were gonna talk about this. I forgot what it was, but I think some teacher were saying that like they don't think it's their responsibility to risk their lives for kids. Like, I mean, I could be butchering it, but they were like arguing about how like a teacher shouldn't be expected to like take a bullet for your kid, you know? And people were like, "What?" Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I mean, I kind of see what they're
because
coming
I mean,
from.
it's like saying like people who work at like fucking Best Buy or some shit. Like you don't expect them when somebody robs for them to put their life on the line for it. Right?
Yeah, it's like
it's a job.
Yeah, it's a job. It's not like I don't know.
They're there to do the job. They're
Yeah.
not fucking like heroes, you know?
Yeah.
It's not Clark Kent working at fucking Cal State.
No,
LA.
yeah. So if I was a teacher, I'd be pretty upset about like all this stuff going on with that.
But what would you think is like the solution?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. But I wouldn't be a teacher. If I was a teacher, I probably would quit too. So
Damn.
do something else.
Well, honestly, teachers get disrespected the most.
Yeah, they
like
do.
out of like most jobs in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like, I saw even like in funny ways. Like I saw TikToks of like, I remember I on my first day of teaching in sixth graders, one of the kids said, "Who the fuck are you?" and started doing the gritty. And,
do you remember in school when people would be? I'll give both sides. In school, I remember some teachers were just complete douchebags for no reason. But I also remember some kids were complete douchebags to the teachers for no reason. I wouldn't have the patience for that. Like, you know, like I just go insane. Because some of this shit that the kids would do to the teachers, I'm like, damn, bro, like, relax. It's not that serious. You know?
Yeah. For me, I mainly saw it in high school. In middle school, I don't know if I saw it as
in
much.
my class, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I had a bunch of the
Teachers'
I
pets.
think
Yeah.
I saw it a lot in like middle school, and then in high school it was only like one person, or like it wasn't the whole class. It was just like one person was like bad or something.
But you're right though.
One person in like one class.
Like se pasan, you know? They'd go way too far. They'd want to make the professor fucking like red in the face, like fucking mad, like.
Yeah.
But it's weird because
Or make the teachers cry.
Yeah,
That's
I only
always-
remember middle school we made one teacher cry.
I remember in my
my
first
class, not me.
high school they made a teacher cry, and I was like, dang, that's
you know,
that's like that sucks.
I remember when teachers in general, just like teachers getting mad is like the vibes are off. Like from that point on, like the vibes are fucking off. Like,
I guess it depends on like like how the teacher gets mad. Like sometimes teachers be like, all right, like relax, but sometimes they like get mad.
They blow up. Yeah.
Like, all right.
I remember my math teacher in high school fucking one time, like out of nowhere, just fucking like blew up on us. And he was like, I'm sorry, I have a short fuse. Because it was literally like something small. It was like we were all talking and we interrupted him. But it wasn't like we were ignoring him. You know when like there's a lot of people in a classroom, people are talking. So he's giving something, and then just these two people keep talking, and it's like, be quiet. And then some other people over there is like, be quiet. But the third, like, people started talking, and he just like exploded and like started yelling at us, and we always thought he was nice. Like I'm telling you, there was no like bad vibes there. There was no bad.
But
connection.
after that, you're like, damn.
Yeah. But then he gave like an apology of like, I'm sorry, like I have like anger issues.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, like, okay.
That's crazy.
Like, teachers are human too, bro. They need a break every now and then too.
No, yeah, for sure.
But moving on to the next topic. So a fan sent this to me like 5 weeks ago, and I just barely saw it. So
hopefully they didn't unsubscribe because we didn't answer.
Sorry. I told him about it.
Shout out to my sister. Shout out to also Bearmaster on TikTok. He tagged us in this and said this is too freaky. So I'm gonna show it to you guys first. Some of you probably seen this.
Okay, so y'all probably know this dog, and I'm about to tell you something crazy. So hear me out and let me know your opinions at the end. Recently, this dog went viral for several kind of strange reasons. Number one would be her saying how sad she is and asking for medicine, and currently she is on antidepressants. Now, many people believe that this is because she's becoming self-aware since she's literally learning how to speak and act like a human, which goes into the next part, where she essentially asks why she's a dog. And she keeps asking, who's this, and looking in a mirror. And then her owner has to go ahead and tell her that that's you, that's Bunny. And the dog is literally having a crisis, then asking for help because she thinks she's human? I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion on this. It's really weird. What do you guys think?
Triska, who that's his video, but
well, so for context, because you guys obviously can't see.
Well, I mean, you could edit it in.
I guess. But well, anyways, I've seen that. I haven't seen the one he's talking about, but I've seen the dog that
the
presses
actual
the
video.
button. Yeah, the
Like
one,
the actual dog video.
Not the ones where he's like questioning reality, but the ones where he'll be like, "Give me pets" or "Go for a walk" and stuff. And I've seen videos where they like debunk it or some shit, where they're like, "Oh, it's just doing that." But when you watch it, it looks kind of convincing, right? Mm-hmm. I wish we could talk to like a guy.
I saw it. I know what you're talking about. So what it is, it's not that they're debunking it.
Yeah.
It's that he's just memorizing it. The dog's just memorizing what the buttons kind of like do. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, if I press this button, she gets like super happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like patterns.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really know what it is. But on the school of thought, you don't think she's self-aware, bro?
Wait, so in the video they say the dog is on antidepressants?
Yeah. That it's become depressed ever since it started like doing this.
That's interesting. I didn't even know you can give animals dogs antidepressants. I didn't know that existed.
I didn't know that either.
Well, yeah, you
I
can.
didn't know that was a thing.
I mean, well,
what does that say about existence?
So then, does that mean they are eventually gonna get rights?
I know
Going
dogs.
back.
Yeah, you see, this all connects, bro. They need rights.
I mean, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know dogs can be depressed, but I didn't know you could prescribe them like
And
Zoloft or something, or like whatever. But that's kind of creepy. He thinks it's the dog thinks it's a human.
I guess so. Cause
help me. Whoa, that's creepy. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I just think it's interesting how they also put the music in the background.
So yeah. Well, so should they put the dog down?
You don't think that like
put the dog down? Oh my god.
Should they?
You don't put the dog down.
If it's conscious.
Yeah.
I feel
why do you think they should though?
Because if it's conscious,
out of its memory is misery.
Yeah, right. And they think it's human. Wouldn't the dog live its entire life suffering?
Okay, but hear me out. Do you think it's possible that this person has like a bunch of recordings of this dog pressing a bunch of random buttons, and then like they'll piece together the ones that form a sentence?
No.
I think that's a reality. I feel like
the human, like the
no,
owner
like let's say like there's like 50 takes, right? And one of them he's like, kiss my ass, or some shit, or like
kiss my ass,
But then on like one of them, it's like he presses the right ones or something. Like I'm sure she could train it to press the ones that she wants. Like maybe she presses it beforehand, and he matches them, and then she gets a treat after that, and that's why it looks like that. Or I don't know. Maybe it could have a soul.
So you think she's tricking us to think that?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's a dog. I don't know.
But what would it mean if the dog was sentient?
That would be sad.
You think so? So we should put it down.
No, I don't think you should put it down. Well, I mean,
what? It's funny I can say that
because that was my first thought.
So we should put it down.
Is it really a dog then? Because the dog says it doesn't think it's a dog. It thinks it's a person.
I literally would put it down so fast. I'd be so scared.
Why? Hold on. Why? Would you put it down? Because it's like
I'll give you.
No, but wait.
But it's not human. Though.
No, but would you? Wait, would you put it down because you think A, there's a human soul trapped in there. B, there's another there's like a supernatural being controlling the dog, or 3, that the dog's just like sad and like you just want to put it out.
Literally,
all of them,
all 3, yeah. Because I don't know which one it is, and all 3 of those sound bad. Why the fuck?
I wouldn't consider the dog a human. I'm just like, oh, it's a dog that like.
I try to use the buttons. Like, do you want to die? Like, it's like
yes, please,
yes.
I mean, the dog was saying help, so I'm.
The dog says help.
Because I'm like, help what? You think I can move your brain to a human?
What you want me to do?
Yeah, I'm like, the best I could do is make it stop.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
I think it's not funny, but like when the dog's like looking in the mirror and it's like, who am I or who is that?
Who is that?
Yeah,
interesting. Like, it's you, and then he's like,
what?
But that wouldn't make sense. I feel like that's fake.
They should. No, I think it's fake. 100%.
That's probably fake.
That wouldn't make sense. No, I 100% think it's fake.
Right?
But they should. If it is real, they should give that dog like mushrooms or something. Because then maybe they'll cure him. Maybe he'll like be like,
he'll go back to woof woof.
Yeah, maybe he'll be like, I'm just dog. I'm just a dog.
That's true. Or DMT, right?
Yeah, maybe he'll be like,
I'm okay just being a dog.
Yeah, like
it's. I'd rather be. I don't pay rent.
Cause like he doesn't know, bro. Like he doesn't know. I'd probably rather be a dog sometimes. So like I feel like he has a good. He just
No, yeah, he has a good life. He's probably sad. What is he? He's depressed. He's a dog.
Yeah. No, but that's what's sad about it. Cause I feel like dogs are just.
They're happy to be alive.
They're all joy. So like a dog that's depressed, I've never seen a defective dog.
I guess she's mistreating it.
She's abusing it to do that shit.
Oh, she's saying help me, as in help me to the audience. Whoa. As in like help me from my owner.
Whoa.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Damn, that was 5 weeks ago though. I wonder what the story is now.
Dog.
I'm not gonna make that joke. This is why we answer these.
Yeah, my bad. You know what's funny? Bearmaster, I think that's your name. I wanted to do it because I saw it. I think the day before we were recording. I just forgot. So
I remember you told me about it.
But send us more shit like that.
Yeah. Everybody
sure.
send us more shit like
this
that.
doesn't come up on my feed, so
yeah.
So
send us more stuff.
I mean, it's creepy, but it's also a little funny, No?
Yeah, it's a little funny. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd probably like the good ending. I'd just be like, give him like edibles and stuff. Like treat him more like a person.
I feel like
guess.
if it thinks it's a person, then like talk to
Bro,
him.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
You literally have Scooby Doo then?
Yeah.
Why are you depressed?
Yeah. Scooby Doo.
Like, let's go solve crimes, you know?
Nah, I'd be scared if that dog, like, after that. Nah, you know, if that was my dog, and I'd probably throw away those things. But then he just starts like looking at you all the time.
No, I'm telling you, that's literally exactly why I would put his ass down. Just because I'd be scared. I'd be so scared.
You wouldn't feel guilty. I'd almost feel like I'm killing a person at that point.
I thought you were gonna say guilty because it's like a miracle. Because it's a person.
Well, because if he's conscious and he's talking, I'd almost feel guilty. Cause I mean, I'd feel guilty already. Like if it was a regular
coming,
dog.
bro.
Well, I don't think he was actually talking. No, he was just using the buttons.
No. Okay.
I'll give him a chance.
Once again, I think this is fake. But like in the scenario that it's real, let's say my dog was talking and he was really starting to scare me. First of all, if my dog, it would
like he's actually speaking.
No, like
but using the buttons.
And it was real. You don't think it feels like you're almost killing a person the way it's like talking? Because he's like, I know that I'm alive and stuff, you know?
I would kind of like gaslight myself to not think about it until he's dead.
Bro, I feel like even if he couldn't talk, like if he just bit me and they were like, you should put him down, I'd feel bad. I feel like if him talking is like psychological torture. Because I feel like that's even worse. Because I don't know, dogs already hate the vet. They like know. So if I drive him to the vet, what do I even tell the vet?
I told you I'd give him a chance. I'd be like,
what do you even tell the vet?
Stop being sad.
My dog's scaring me. Put him down. They're not gonna do that.
They're just gonna put him in adoption and shit.
Yeah.
Nah, and he'd probably get revenge on you or something.
He come back to haunt me.
You see, it's exactly them down.
Yeah, if it.
Yeah, like, but you can't put him down because you would have to explain to the vet of like.
I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say because I'm gonna get canceled for
what
it.
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna just say that you don't have to take him to the vet to put him down.
No, but in that sense, like I feel like let's say
censor that. Don't put that in there.
No, but like let's say you're gonna like wow, you know. I feel like he's gonna look at you, you know. I feel like because he has a soul.
Then get him while he's not looking.
He's gonna be like,
because he has a soul.
No, because
he's gonna look right into your eyes.
Because if he's like Scooby Doo and I'm like that, he's gonna be like row, you know, like you know. So I don't know.
He'd be like,
but you know how you were like you can't roll out that there's like a demon in your dog.
Yeah.
What if that demon like is pissed that you killed it? And it's like haunting you now. So now you have like a ghost demon dog walking around.
What the fuck?
I'd be fucking scared. I'd be like, this is hell. I'd try to give him to like the Pope. Like, hey, exorcist.
Nah, honestly, I'd be so fucking scared. The more I think about it, the scarier it gets.
Would you take your dog to an exorcist if you felt your dog was possessed? What would that even look like?
I don't know, bro. I'm telling you, I'd be so scared.
How come demons don't possess dogs? I feel like that's easy.
Did you see? You know what's funny? You know the new Velma show that came out?
Yeah.
Did you see the like fan animation that people made?
I think I sent it to you, no? Or I sent it to Patrick at least.
Maybe it's literally exactly this.
I'll show you when we're done.
Yeah, it's literally exactly this. It's that like Scooby and Velma realizes like, wait a minute, I never thought about this, but how come Scooby can talk? And it's like Scooby's like a demon, and it's like yeah.
That's scary. I'm scared.
How come in the lore of demons, because I know there is lore, how come they don't possess like dogs?
I feel like they do.
I thought they do. I thought there was like isn't there like a what would you call it?
No. See, I know people bring that up, but that's different. A skinwalker, what people is like a witch, right? It's like a shape-shifting witch.
Yeah.
That's not possessing a dog. That's pretending to be a dog. Why doesn't a demon say, you know what, I'm gonna get in this person's dog? Why don't they do that? I feel like that's easy, no?
I don't know.
Are demons like? I mean, do dogs have like?
I think there is that legend that like animals can see spirits, so maybe it's because their their spiritual presence is just a lot stronger than humans, so it's a lot harder to possess a dog. Going into the lore of it, because it's true. You've never heard that animals can see spirits?
No, yeah, but I feel like the animals can see me, and I'm my dog.
I
can
could
trick
kill
my
him.
dog. My dog always falls for the I fake throw a ball, and he always.
So a demon could for sure possess the dog.
he never figures out I didn't throw it.
Don't tell them the secret.
Oh, maybe demons are dumb.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe they're
someone out there explain to me, please, why that doesn't happen. Like someone.
Why more animals don't get possessed?
Yeah, because I feel like if you were a demon, wouldn't you possess like a bear and then go like on a killing spree, or like a shark or some shit?
It's because I don't know demon
lion?
lore. Are they like goofballs? Like, is part of being a demon that it has to be like kind of fun?
I remember. No, I saw somewhere. Well, Steve-O says when he hallucinated demons, that they were like amping him up to make bad decisions. But he doesn't believe it was real. He credits them as hallucinations. But when I hear like people talking about demon lore, that they talk about that, like that's true. I've also heard that like demons show up as little kids because they want you to trust them. I've also seen that like he was on Joe Rogan. They're I think they're YouTubers. They're kind of like what's that show? Ghost Hunters? It's not them, but they're essentially that, where they went to that ship, the Queen Mary, that's known to be haunted, and that they asked the ghost if there's a god, and the ghost said no, and supposedly that's like an indicator of a demon, because demons are supposed to like steer you away from God. So like if you ask a ghost if there's a god and it says no, chances are it's a demon.
That wouldn't even make any fucking sense.
What do you mean?
Why would a ghost say there's no God? Then what the fuck are you?
I feel like right.
Doesn't make sense.
You don't think ghosts can exist?
No. I mean, but it's funny that if that's true, like what a stupid lie for the ghost to say, bro. Then how are you talking to me?
You don't think You don't think spirits can exist without a god? I feel like they could.
But how would they know there's no God?
Because they're dead. And they found out what's on the other side. Maybe there's no God. You know? You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna need a ghost on this show. We're gonna have a guest.
We probably could do that.
I'm down.
Theoretically. Like
I'm down.
if
We should summon a ghost live on the show.
Live? Julie's not
in this studio.
We'll go to the Suicide Bridge.
We'll go there.
Suicide Bridge, and we'll do it.
We'll
do a special. Maybe for this Halloween.
I don't want it.
Some people get followed though. What if it follows you?
I feel like my spiritual presence is too strong.
Our last house was haunted. I don't want to haunt
your last house.
Studio.
Was a little interesting.
But that's what I mean. My spiritual presence is too strong. Nothing ever happened to me. Dude, I've been having some fucking... Well, I mean, I always is. But like... So since I don't smoke as much weed anymore, it finally happened where... I don't know if you heard that when you stop smoking weed...
You finally got REM sleep back?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of REM sleep. And I've been having like super weird dreams, like super like gory dreams, and it's like so bad that like I almost want to keep smoking weed, so that way I stop having them, because they're just so weird, bro. Like I have dreams about like just like weird shit happening on. Okay, I had a dream that like one of my friends started like a YouTube channel. And that he started kind of like a jackass YouTube channel, but it's all about like mutilating like genitals, like mutilating like people's genitals.
Damn. And
he had like a premiere for it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's like, "Come on, bro! Like, it's good content. People want to see this. Like, it's real." And that he brought in like his crew, and they started doing like a live performance of it, like in front of us. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I woke up. This is just to say that it's kind of like it's giving me spooky vibes. Yeah. But my spiritual presence was too strong. You see, nothing happened when I woke up.
Yeah. Really? You don't think that maybe that's an implication that there's a presence inflicting that on you?
No. Do you remember I told you recently? One time I woke up in the middle of the night, and I felt my like sixth sense. Like, okay, this is gonna sound funny, but you know that sense you get when somebody's looking at you and you can feel the stares? You can feel somebody's looking at you? Oh my God. Well, I woke up in the middle of the night and I could feel that, like this like pressure of like something looking at me. And I was like, this is tripping me out, so I'm gonna go back to sleep. And then I did. And then I woke up and it was gone. I didn't feel that pressure anymore.
Weird.
Yeah.
See, so then I guess they are following him already.
Maybe.
But you see, am I here?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Your ass is still getting spooked, and
Unless
you're spooking me.
I'm possessed now.
Nice. Nice.
And maybe that's why I want you guys to summon a spirit, because I'm helping my friends out.
There you go.
But
So
no,
we're not.
I don't think so.
So no, we're not gonna do it.
I don't think so.
I'll do
No.
it. She didn't have to go. I'll go with you.
You guys are gonna turn around and my mouth's gonna be like wide open. Like,
whoa.
I'd be like, Brandon killed him.
What? Come on. Why me?
Because you were there with him.
That sucks. I feel like ghosts are such assholes with that, where they frame you for a murder.
in a way that's more haunting.
I feel like it upsets me that in ghost lore they never own up to just, you know what I mean?
Like doing that shit.
Like, go haunt a scientist then, bro. Like, coward,
go haunt Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Go haunt somebody with a 4K camera. But no, they gotta
get like, my ass.
They're always like, goofy and silly, and
they gotta get someone from a third world country with like a fucking Blueberry.
Yeah,
like recording.
I don't know. That's why I don't know about ghosts, bro.
I get what you mean, but this relates to our final topic of today. Do you guys have ops?
Enemies?
Anytime in your life, have you guys ever had enemies? Have you guys ever had people who didn't like you? No, neither of you.
I mean, maybe I probably just didn't know about it.
Yeah, I get you.
I think I've had them when I was younger.
And how do you deal with ops, Julie? Do you take them out on site?
No, I'm just like, okay, I don't get why you're a hater, but all right.
And then
I
what?
was like,
You fight them?
She kills them with kindness.
like, yeah, I killed them.
Oh,
with
you do the Jesus, you turn the other cheek.
kindness. I'm
That's
like,
real.
if it's not doing anything to me, I'm like, it's your issue. You're the one who's getting mad. Like, so doesn't do anything to me.
True, I can see it bothers you though, on you physically. I see it on you. I'm just kidding. I remember when I was a kid. Do you remember I randomly had an op? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Your boy.
Oh, come on, bro! Don't identify this person.
Yeah, I didn't. But I just remember that was funny because I remember I was like, I didn't even know.
Yeah, there's just a person I knew that really didn't like him.
And then remember,
I never even know why.
As a joke to like play into
Well,
it,
yeah.
I commented on the post and I got blocked. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, bro, like, but why? I didn't even know you. You know, I ran into him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, literally like 2 weeks ago. He
Oh, you
came
did?
to my work. Yeah, and I
Recognize you?
Yeah, he did. He has a kid now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, yeah. No, he's
Whoa.
doing good. I mean, there wasn't no beef there from when we were like
yeah.
11. You know.
Yeah.
But he has a kid now. Yeah, no, he looks like he's doing good. He was there with his well, I don't know if it's his wife, but his baby mom, I guess. He had like a full beard now. Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
Very cool.
he came to kill me.
He finally caught you.
Yeah.
I also saw the girl who didn't like me from my childhood again.
And did you fight
These
her?
past few days. No, I was just pretty chill about it.
I feel like normalize fighting for no reason. Your old enemies. Yeah.
I don't know, because I think a lot of people saw me as an enemy, but I never really saw them as an
'Cause you're a
enemy.
hater.
I was just more like, I don't get why you don't like me, but okay. I always felt like the only reason that they didn't
Here
like
we
me
go.
was just because I just felt like they were a little envious of like.
Ooh.
They're just
Go off.
class- a
Okay,
classic-
more.
a
Go.
classic.
What else, Julie? What else? And what else?
Classic cope. Classic cope.
I don't know. That's just how I saw it.
You're
I was
just
And they were
jealous.
just
I don't know.
bitches
You're just jealous you can't be me. You know.
Mhm. They're
because I
just
stole their
mad.
man. And then what else, Julie?
I don't fight for.
In
men,
reality,
though.
Julie probably like stepped on their J's or something. I don't know.
In reality, Julie probably like fucking like I don't know.
Spit on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not like I don't really care.
Having ops seems very stressful.
Yeah.
But like I
Does,
mean
yeah.
like genuine ops, like you.
Oh, you mean like fucking like
No.
ops?
I mean, I feel like if it's one sided, then I wouldn't. You know what I mean? It doesn't really
Yeah.
count. But if it's like
You both.
no, like you mutually hate someone, like and then they hate you, that seems super stressful.
I feel like how can you keep that up? I'm like you don't ever just be like I don't care anymore.
Maybe somebody like fucks your wife. You know.
Oh.
You know, it's maybe something like that. I could see like that seems pretty stressful.
Okay, then yeah, that's different.
Like it's
then,
like,
yeah.
oh, my best friend of 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
You fuck my
Okay,
wife,
well,
you
because
know?
that's different. There's also like there's not really. It's not enemies is a strong word, but it's also like let's say somebody did you wrong, right? And like you just don't talk to them anymore because of it. Is that an enemy?
It depends. I feel like it has. I feel like an enemy. It has to be like both sides are playing a part. Maybe you don't hate them as much as they hate you, but you have to have like some sort of disdain for them. Because I feel like if you're like, then it's not really an enemy. They're just another person who doesn't like.
Just someone you don't really talk to.
You know what I mean?
You don't fuck with.
I mean, there's people on the internet who don't like us, and do you consider them enemies? Not really.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. No, because I mean, I'm not aware of their presence. You know.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know their
I
existence.
feel like if somebody doesn't like you and you don't like them back, you're not really aware of their presence.
But
So
you don't think it's fun to have an enemy? Can I make an enemy out of you?
sure,
Fuck you.
it's one-sided. See,
But then you said we're gonna be enemies. Now you humiliated
that's
me.
why they
I
have the
have-
opposite beanies too. He
I
has a
have-
black beanie.
I have
he has a
no-
white
Yeah.
beanie.
I have no ops. I don't.
They're enemies.
Well, let me be your first one.
I don't beef with anybody.
Let me be the first one.
He's pro club. He's Adidas.
Is that what his beanie says?
So then, your shoes.
Actually,
I like your shoes. I like your shoes. I like your shoes.
some enemy. You know, bro. Actually,
I actually low-key fuck
damn,
with you.
bro. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't know.
what the problem was.
I feel like having an enemy, it's like not only stressful because somebody hates you, but it's like to have an enemy. Like for me to have an enemy, for me to like hate somebody, they probably have to do some like fucked up shit to me. you know?
Yeah.
Probably sucks to have on your mind all the time. You know?
Yeah.
Because I also really believe, personally, I really believe in the whole like hate less, love more mentality of things. Of like, oh man, like I'd rather just fucking love things than fucking hate things. You
Yeah.
know, hate on people. I understand like why people hate on people. Like why people have enemies. Because like you said, like maybe I don't know, you fucked with your wife and then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then he killed your firstborn kid. You know,
Yeah,
like
you know.
well then you guys are fucking enemies. You know.
Yeah.
But if it's like I just don't like the way he like acts, you know?
Yeah,
it's like, bruh, like
you're just
come
being
on.
a hater, you know?
Yeah, like just let it go.
No, yeah, that's an
Yeah.
important
Cares.
distinction. There's a difference between having an enemy and just being a hater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like being haters?
Yeah.
You know,
I do.
maybe controversial take, but I feel like there's a lot of haters that I know where it's like they hate a lot and it's fine, but the second it turns on them, like somebody throws even the smallest thing at them, they get so fucking mad. And it's like, well, why are you hating them, bro? Like you can't take the heat, you know?
It's because it's.
I feel like that's a common trend that haters like love dishing it out, but the second someone turns it on them, they like crumble. It's like-
yeah.
Mm.
No, that's real.
So I
Pretty
feel like
fucking
if you're
real.
gonna be a hater, like
Be a villain.
yeah, I guess, or like be able to take it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I think that about wraps today's episode up. Unless there's something else you guys wanted to say.
What are your top 3 fruits? I wrote it on the board. It's gonna come on the air.
All right. I knew it was gonna come up. Top 3 fruits.
Yeah, top 3 fruits.
Probably banana. Orange.
It's a good choice.
And is a lime? Is a lemon?
You're gonna go lemon? Wow,
fuck
that's
yeah.
an interesting, very
Fuck
original
yeah.
pick.
Come on.
I have yet to, nobody said that.
Come on, bro. Lemons are fucking
lemon.
delicious.
No, I'm not faulting you.
Uh,
That's just
limon?
an unorthodox pick, and I like that.
What can I say? Julie?
Okay.
You can't pick the same 3 either. I'm just kidding.
I would say a mango.
Common.
Oh, wow.
Very
Mm,
good.
I would say
Overrated. Pretty boy.
Mangoes are really good. I like
Pretty
the yellow
boy.
ones. I like the yellow mangoes. Those are really good because they're really sweet. I would say a watermelon,
Very good choice.
and the last one's a hard one. Man, it's because I have two left. I have to decide on one of them.
This is actually the most controversial topic yet in this entire episode.
I'll give you my top 3. What do you think? If
You know, it's
want.
funny. I thought of a controversial take.
An orange, a
Orange?
cherry,
A cherry?
an orange.
A
It's
cherry
between an orange and a cherry.
I think cherry's a good pick.
I think cherries are really
Pick.
good.
Yeah,
I think cherries are really
I can
good.
see that.
For me, I love peaches. A good peach is a good peach.
Yeah.
And then watermelon.
I knew it. I fucking knew
A
it.
good watermelon's a good watermelon, bro. Nothing hits like good watermelon.
I fucking knew it.
Boneless watermelon.
And then I'm gonna go orange.
I could agree.
Honorary mention. I like grapes.
For me, a grape's gotta have some crunch. I love
what the fuck?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When a grape's like, that's like a crunchy grape.
Oh, I get what you mean.
never
I
had
like
a
when they're
crunchy
too squishy.
I get what you mean.
Lost me.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Nothing hits like a crunchy grape.
Like the red ones.
Yeah. No, the reason I was thinking about this is, I had some homegrown oranges, and oh my god, bro, those were arguably the best oranges I've ever had in my life. And but something that happens to me a lot when I eat fruit is like, you ever eat some good fruit and you're like, why do I ever eat anything else?
Yeah,
you know?
fuck yeah. That's
like,
me when I drink really good water. Why do I ever drink anything else?
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, why does it happen? Like a good burger is a good burger, but I never get that same like, oh my god, I feel amazing.
I think it's
after,
because
you know?
like oranges and water are natural to the world, so it hits different. It hits your DNA. You
but
know.
how come like, but how come there's never that like?
You're like a little animal, you know.
How come I never like fiend for it? Like, how come I don't want oranges every day?
It's because
Like, how come when we hang out and we're like, what do you want to eat? And nobody's like, let's hit up the grocery store. And let's make some fruit salad. You know.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. I feel like it's because
bro, think about all this fruits making me hungry. Like,
I think because processed shit is on paper more flavorful, like more delicious, but it's because it has a lot of shit added into it.
Yeah.
But like fruits and water, it doesn't need that.
Yeah.
It's just naturally like that.
Cause like an orange, bro. Like I can't believe that grows on trees. Like that's it almost seems fake, you know. Like if fruit didn't exist and somebody like presented me an orange, like how'd you make this, you know? Because it's like seems fake.
Well, isn't it that bananas aren't real?
Well, I mean, they're real, but they're not in their natural state like they used to.
Well,
be.
no fruit is, but like still, it seems.
But it's like it grows out of the ground at least.
Yeah, but or like a watermelon, you just open it up and it's just like all food. Like what? I don't know.
I'm already thinking of like, damn, I really want a mango and like some tajin.
Right.
And then I think of the watermelon and I'm like, I'm gonna put some limon.
Sounds delicious,
And
right?
some tajin.
All right, well, we're gonna go get some fruit. Comment what your favorite fruit is. No,
No, do that. Give us your top 3.
I hope you guys have a good Thursday. This is a very variety episode. We were like talking about like, yeah, my childhood
Trauma.
school was like
And
trauma and then we were like
top 3 fruits.
But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys have a good Thursday. We'll be back next week. And as always, don't worry, because no matter what we talk about, no matter what you experience in your life, everything's cool. And we'll see you next week. See ya.
Bye.